Okay. I believe we should be streaming now.
Word, I haven't got a notification yet, but we'll see. I mean, if anybody's in here right now, I'm sure they're commenting in the chat saying, "What's up, Surfbone? Long time no stream." All that.
Yep, I'm currently looking on my phone.
Yeah, I haven't got a notification yet. I just refreshed the page.
Yep. Okay, yep, people are starting to roll in now.
Sorry, people are starting to roll up.
Yep.
Oh yeah. If you go on live, it's not there.
I'm about to advertise it to my servers.
Yeah, that might be you. Yeah, and in nudies is too. Or Selduna, some people call him.
Yo, what's up?
Right,
what's up,
before
Mark?
It starts, I'm gonna grab a drink and then.
Yep. Yep, we got. Who says Versus Equalization is bad? The guy we're about to watch. He literally has the video titled The Equalization Problem. And I got a good old YouTuber bud, my good old buddy Broku, that told me about this video. And funny enough, not even like a few hours later, did somebody in Noodles' own server literally suggest it for a live stream. And I'm like, you know what? This is pretty topical to the channel, so why not? I hit up the boy Hashi and said, you know, this might be a really good stream idea. Seen 2 videos explaining it, still don't know why you wouldn't. Technically, I have made a YouTube short on it where I explained it. Granted, it was very brief.
Yeah, well, people are asking, like, you know, why would people do it? Who says it's bad? And we're going to get into as this video goes on. I think I haven't watched the video yet, but I have a feeling he's going to make a lot of the same arguments everybody does.
Yep. And
when he does, we'll explain those and whatnot. Does the duck have a name? Yeah, his name is John Jones.
I'm sure he's talking about the duck on your shoulder.
Yeah. His name is John Jones. That's new lore, Surfbone. We're dropping lore in the stream.
Versus equalization out of everything? Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if you're picking apart SBAs, I mean, it's definitely one of them to start with. That's for sure.
Yeah. Granted, I feel like I'm just gonna predict. I'm gonna predict this. I haven't watched the video. I've only been told briefly what the video contains. I haven't watched it, but if we were doing a bingo card, the one thing that would be in one of those squares is if Asta is at all mentioned ever at one time throughout this entire video. If Asta is mentioned once, I win. Because, oh my god, in my Versus Equalization YouTube short, every time whenever someone talks about how they don't like Versus Equalization, they bring up Asta. They always bring him up. And it's always so funny to me that it's mainly because of one character or that one example of a character that just starts beating a bunch of people because it kind of leads in his favor. That then you're like, you know what? Can't do it. You can't get up on that Versus Equalization shenanigans.
Someone asked, can the duck fight? I mean, he used to, but now he's just doing hit and runs on pregnant women and taking steroids. So, you know, that's how it be. Yeah.
So, Hachi, while I'm eating this burger, do you mind educating the chat real quick on what Versus Equalization is?
Oh, yeah, for those of you who don't know, Verse Equalization is when we look at, like, 2 similar powers from 2 verses, like, let's say you have, like, the Human Torch, and you have, like, I'm trying to think of, like, an actual fire user from DC, but I can't think of one for the life of me. you'd assume fire is fire. You don't like say like, oh well, DC fire can't be manipulated by a Marvel character because they're from two different verses. I think that's kind of silly, and it breaks the social contract of what we're talking about. Because the whole idea is that we both read something, and we're saying based on what we have read, this is what would happen if these two characters met or whatever. And to say, oh well, it's never shown working on someone outside their verse, it's just completely unfalsifiable because no power is shown working outside of its own verse.
Okay. For some reason, I thought Versus Battle Wiki actually had a page dedicated to it, but no, it's just in the standard battle assumption.
Yeah, as it should be.
The first thing that came up was a Reddit thread, not a Reddit thread, but like a community thread on it.
Wait, real fast. Mark Strike said Firestorm. Yeah, but with like Firestorm, there's that wiggle room because he's like a atomic manipulator guy, you know.
Yeah.
So like his fire might actually be different, and it's the same reason why. If I said the Human Torch, I know I said the Human Torch, but there's two different ones in Marvel. I think his name is John Hammond, the first one. He has like radioactive fire, and then there's Johnny Storm, and they're actually different. I think another example would be Nen equating to magic in some other anime. I mean, it depends what that magic is, right? Like I think like ki or chakra or hockey are basically the same stuff. Obviously, some have like different components or whatever, but they're largely the same like inner bodily energy. So I think it's fine to say that like if a truth-seeking orb hit like a Kamehameha, it might erase the Kamehameha, right? There are some exceptions to this, like a specific type of fire in one verse. Yeah, no, 100%. Like I don't think that Johnny Storm, barring any feats that he might have that are crazy in Marvel, right, would be able to manipulate Amaterasu, right? But obviously, if Johnny Storm has feats of something like that, then sure, right?
Someone actually presented a good question.
Yeah.
Could you equalize hockey from in Ki from Dragon Ball and say that Yamcha could damage Logias? That's not exactly how that works.
Yeah. I think there's an argument to be made about how Logias would work in that regard.
Right. I think what he's trying to say is that the whole point of Versus Equalization is that hockey can attack like chakra attacks, basically.
Yeah.
And not that they just wouldn't be able to interact, or just being like, oh, well, I don't think we would know. The problem is that, like, hockey has the properties that allow it to hit Logias. You would basically, equalizing it wouldn't necessarily make it so that it has the exact same properties or effectiveness that hockey does. And that's why you would have to make videos just demonstrating the differences between Ki and hockey, and be like, well, hockey can do this, while Ki can do this.
Yeah, 100%. Someone said, it's only an issue when people say Superman is immune to Dragon Ball Z Ki because it's magic. Superman isn't immune to magic, though. He's actually famously vulnerable to it.
Like, for example, if we equalize them in the way that you're suggesting, that would mean that that hockey users can now fly.
Yeah, and they blatantly
because
can't.
Ki can be used as a component to make a user fly. But obviously, hockey is not used in that same regard.
Would a crossover count? Well, I don't think crossovers are ever canon. But even if they were, that would just be like its own universe, and then we would say like a famous one is like the One Piece Dragon Ball Toriko, and so our conclusion, if we're following verse equalization like that dogma that like, oh well, it's from another verse, it's just that Toriko characters are weak or aren't immune or whatever to Ki and hockey. It's like I said, it's an unfalsifiable hypothesis. You can keep moving the goalpost as much as you want.
Also, before someone, either in this live stream or someone in the comments mentions the Skywalk, I literally made a point in my Luffy video where I say that it's a component of hockey, and I got flamed for it. Like, absolutely flamed for it. So
yeah, there's a scene in Wano where Jinbei and Who's are fighting, and Jinbei goes to block, and I think Jinbei's like blocking an attack. He's like, oh, this is my hockey or Tekai. And the implication that everybody got off of that is that is that the 6 powers are like training tools for hockey. We also see Luffy do something similar in Gear 4th anyways. So Example, in Dragon Ball, being stronger than your opponent means... No, that's not even true in Dragon Ball. It's blatantly not true in Dragon Ball. It's not... Like, there are I can't think of a verse off the top of my head where that's actually true, where, like, AP means you're immune to hacks.
Yeah.
It's not true in Dragon Ball. It's definitely not true in Bleach.
Yeah.
And no one ever does it in either series either. No one ever, like, reasons through it or anything. Whenever it does happen, it's like a miracle, like Vegeta, where he manages to retain his speed and strength as a gumball or whatever.
The other, I think I saw like Salad Saiyan or something, made a video talking about that exact same thing. I feel like we might need to like do like dedicate an entire stream, see if like he actually ends up addressing why it's not the case. And that was like a common misconception started by somebody who we now kind of broadly associate with now.
The biggest... Didn't Aizen bypass Soifons by being stronger than her? If he did, that would just mean that whatever hack Soifon was using is now subject to that rule. It's not like an overall rule. Yeah. Like I said, no one ever does it. Like, Yuha doesn't...
Yeah, like, I was about to say, even if that's the case, like, it would only apply to Aizen and no one else, because he doesn't say, like, this is a rule in Bleach.
Yeah. Like, Yuha doesn't do that to anybody, ever. He doesn't do that to Aizen's Kyoka Soigetsu. He doesn't do that to Ichibei. None of the, I thought that, the people who went with Aizen to fight Squad Zero, they never do it. The X-Axis guy, his abilities aren't, like, limited. He's like, oh no, if that, no, nothing like that ever happens. SR Nova, that statement is when someone's under Kyoka Soigetsu. Yeah. So that statement's just a lie. Like, would One Piece characters have cranial nerves? Why wouldn't they? Like, external consistency is a thing, my guy.
Yeah.
Like, do they have pancreases? They probably should, right?
Hashi's just obsessed with the pancreas, apparently.
I'm gonna hit you in the pancreas. You're not ready for it. I'm gonna steal your kidneys, too. You're not ready for it, Surfbone. And in one of the light novels, they actually use... this thing I'm not reading. Could partially bypass Ichibei Shikai renaming by being stronger than him. Then that's another unique instance. It's not like a rule.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of silly, because no one ever tries it either. Like, it's not like this thing that, like, everybody knows and everybody tries. It's this very unique thing that happens on niche occasions.
Yeah, like, Nova, what you would need proof of first is that it's, like, a pre-existing thing that is established within the narrative of the verse, right? And then what you do next is you then go off citing examples of that happening. Not previously, now just using examples to try to be like, oh, but what about this instance? What about this instance? Because then that makes you seem desperate that you're trying to look for all these examples that agree with the premise that you're currently presenting.
Like, my question would be is if it's like a pre-existing rule, then, oh fuck, what's his name? Kubo's favorite captain. What's his name? Fuck.
Mayuri.
Yeah, like, Mayuri is, like, almost never actually just straight up stronger than someone. He's always hacking them out.
Yeah.
What's his face? Kisuke is able to bind down Aizen with Kitos, despite Aizen being stronger than him at that point. Like, there's a bunch of stuff like that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
When should and shouldn't you equalize two verses? You should always equalize. I don't think there's a case where you shouldn't.
No,
assuming it's proper equalization.
I'm just going to bring this up. This is, we might cite, like, Versus Battle Wiki just as, like, because I remember someone bringing up, well, our buddy Broku was talking about how this guy ultimately doesn't understand how what Versus Battles like presents when they were talking about verse equalization in order to make things more fair.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a problem if he's like doesn't know or something in the video. We'll just assume he's not going to straw man it. I think that's fine.
Okay.
All right. I'm looking at panels right now. Aizen never says to Soifon that hacks bypass only works on those being under. Well, no, he doesn't say that, but that whole battle is under Kyoka Soigetsu. That's the point. Like when he's saying that, it's under an illusion.
Yeah.
It's like
Anyway.
if Itachi. It's like if Itachi told you something while you're under Tsukiyomi. Like.
Yeah. Anyway, we're not going to talk about this any further, Nova. We're going to be getting to the video now, and I'm going to now bring it up on stream for everybody to see.
I gotta pull the thing down. Where's it up?
I'm still streaming for
Where's
you,
the thing?
Hashi.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the thing. Right, I guess I'll full screen it. That's fine.
Now, luckily, we are somewhat, at least Hashi is much more well-versed in Bleach. I'm a bit more versed on Bleach now.
Yeah,
we were previously.
Yeah, we read through it. Someone said Kenpachi does the same thing to Ichigo. What hacks does Ichigo have?
Literally none.
Yeah, like, I think I know what panel you're talking about, but that's just Newton's third law. Like, Jesus.
Yep.
Like, Bleach fans, I'm sorry I'm taking, like, a tool from your, like, toolbox, but it was just never true to begin with. Alright.
Alright, let's finally watch this video. 1 second, let me pull this up. By the
Everybody's
way,
like,
oh
chat, no.
If there is, like, a question that you really want answered,
super chat.
Yeah, super chat it, because we're going to be... This is a 37-minute video, and we're going to try to speed through this as much as possible, and it might even take us longer, because we're typically the people that pause every 5 to 10 seconds, as the comments like to point out so often. So if you really, really want a question answered, please super chat.
Yep.
And any donations are vastly appreciated. All right.
One more thing that's we should cover. I don't know why Verse Equalization is taken as bad. It's mostly because people are mad that one character wins.
Yeah. Like I said, if Asta gets mentioned one time, I'm walking away happy.
All right. Well, play.
Hey guys, Stanixos here. So today we'll be speaking about the equalization problem. Now, equalization is a process usually done in the context of a cross-anime or mangaverse discussion by people who realize that power systems in the different anime and mangaverses are obviously different, but for whatever reason, generally for their own convenience, they decide to treat these power systems as if they were the same. That is, they equalize them. Now, if you are having
Wait, let him finish, a
cross-verse discussion, and you decide to equalize the power systems just as a what-if scenario, then I think that's absolutely fine. I mean, I may even decide to do a couple videos like that, just to have some fun. The actual problem with equalization, however, is that most people who equalize do not realize that there are actual non-superficial implications of equalizing power systems, and some people even go as far as to assert that all of these power systems are actually the same, or at least should always be treated as such, and that if you are a person who
straw man immediately off the gate. Immediate straw man.
I'm gonna slow it down because he's already talking fast.
Yeah, he talks pretty fast.
Yeah, this is just a blatant straw man.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna try to play like the no true equalization card, but until he presents a case, like a clear case where it's like, here's like a popular thing people do, and here's why this is bad, then it's kind of a straw man. Because he's not even like really willing to say here, especially because like the way he says like, oh, just for fun, that like equalization's valid in some cases. He's pretending like it's always bad.
Yeah.
I also like, who's pretending all power systems are actually the same? Who's doing that?
Yeah, no one's
literally who.
And like, let's say assume that we're going by Versus Battle Wiki's like standards, right? Let's bring that up right here.
So is that where, like, if we're going by VSB, does that mean we have to, like, lobotomize ourselves before?
Yes. So, similar supernatural aspects of verses get equalized in a reasonable fashion, so a supernatural energy that almost everyone in a verse has, which is necessary to fight the characters of said verse, will be assumed to be the equivalent energy that the opponent uses in their techniques so that a proper fight can happen. Keyword, so that a proper fight can happen.
I mean, I think that's even, like, granting the anti-equalization credit a little bit too much credit.
Well, it's like, furthermore, attacks like require a special type of energy to be effective, like anti-magic required.
Man.
It's literally just fucking Asta. They changed this just to include Asta as a particular case study.
We could probably go through the revision history later or something and see.
And it says, will be assumed to work against the energies of different verses as long as they are somehow similar in the mechanics and somehow compatible. But okay, now I'm just realizing the problem with this. You're verse equalizing, but then telling them to get into the fucking semantics of the power system. So the whole point of verse equalization is pointless. The whole point of verse equalization is to skip the semantics of the power system so that we can skip to actually talking about the character's fight. That's the whole point of this.
Well, let's continue watching the video.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Yeah.
Does not subscribe to this belief or this general way of doing things, then you are the one who is wrong and or delusional. So in this video,
do
we're
agree.
going
Wait, hold on. I want to...
this general way of doing things, then you are the one who is wrong. Assert that all of these power systems are actually the same, or at least should always be treated as such, and that if you are a person who does not subscribe to this belief or this general way of doing things, then you are the one who is wrong and or delusional.
Oh,
So in
I
this
no longer
video,
agree
we'll be going over
because
the
he just
obvious
went from a
fact.
straw man. Yeah, he just went from a straw man to saying, they think if you don't do this, you're delusional. It's like, dog, that's
No.
bad manners.
No, because you're
Alright.
already, like, going against the whole point of, like, why this is a thing. And to quote VSB, is so that we can actually skip to talking about the fight itself.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where in like almost every other discussion, if we're like, oh, let's do let's do Itachi versus like the admirals, right?
Yeah.
And the One Piece goon mentality is, oh, well, prove Genjutsu works on someone without chakra, and then you post all the scans that it would, and then you're like, all right, but I think it doesn't matter. Like as a Naruto fan, I think Itachi would be able to do it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have to have this whole discussion about would it work on someone without chakra, because I think the admirals would have chakra or something equivalent to chakra that Itachi would manipulate.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have like spiritual and physical energy within them. But talking about the screenshot on screen right now, number one, facts. Different energies do exist. We can talk about the differences, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And two is probably going to be another straw man.
Yep.
That power systems from different verses are obviously different, and why it is important to take these differences into consideration when having cross-verse discussions. And note, if you are a long-time viewer of the channel, then you know that I actually already made a video on this topic over 2 years ago. However, I was more or less just ranting at that point, and this is such an important topic that I think is fundamental to cross-verse discussions that I wanted to make a more structured dissection of it to see if I could tease out all or at least most of the nuances.
I feel like his like thing about like power systems being different isn't gonna be like I think a Ryatsu is different from Sage Energy, which I think they would be different, obviously, right? It's gonna be more like I think like taijutsu attacks, that use like physical energy, would be different from like a punch in Dragon Ball. And his argument is effectively gonna be, well, yeah, they're both burgers, but that one has tomatoes, so they aren't the same. It's like, dude, we know they aren't the same, but they're both still burgers.
Yeah.
That tomato doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
That's my prediction. So
I don't have to revisit it again. Also, if you are one of those persons who think cross-verse discussions are dumb and that we should not even be doing them at all because there's no way to come to definite answers or for some other reason, then firstly, I don't even know why you are watching this video in the first.
Like, what even is a definite answer? Like, if we're getting epistemological in this bitch, nothing has a definite answer, dude.
Yeah.
Like, man, this guy's annoying. Keep playing the video.
Place. But secondly, even if no definite answers can be found, a lot of people like myself just enjoy thinking about and discussing these topics. It is absolutely fine if you do not like it, or if you think it is a pointless endeavor. However, just because it's not something you enjoy or think should be done, that does not mean you should insert yourself and try to undermine the persons who enjoy doing it. But with that said, let us get right.
Has this guy just ever looked in a mirror? Because that's almost exactly what he's doing here in this video.
I don't know what you're planning on doing with this video, dude. But you're actively feeding that crowd arguments for why they hate power skilling discussions, because supposedly power skillers just think all power systems are the same and that we shouldn't think about them too hard.
Yeah,
there's you're clearly strawmanning a lot of people. Like, no one actually argues this way. Like, I don't know how you honestly look at this video and then just, like, be like, oh, but if you don't like what you should have done, if you're trying to disprove the fact that you're not trying to give these people arguments, is then elaborate on how you do it.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
how do you engage in these discussions if you don't verse equalize? Like, you need to be upfront with your audience with what the problem is and how you solve it. Because if you're not an AT power skiller, then really this video has no purpose. I don't understand how you can call yourself a power skiller or talk about this stuff without wanting to verse equalize, or at least talk about how it's a necessary thing in certain discussions.
All right. What I was gonna say is that yeah, there's a very big crowd of people who like don't call themselves anti-power scalers, but
Yeah.
they basically are an all but name. It's the we'll never know, but I'll still power scale. You know, it's like, oh, we'll never know until the author tells us, but they still quote unquote power scale. Tiering systems are made up; they don't matter, but they like cap out at multiversal anyways, and it's a bunch of shit like that. It's same sauce, different day. Like, just keep watching it.
Into it because we have quite a bit to cover. Now, before we dive too deeply into this topic, you need to have at least a rudimentary idea of the various power systems used in fiction. So at the most broad level, power systems can generally be divided into three main categories, and that is magic-based energy systems, non-magic energy systems, and non-energy based systems.
What's non-energy? What if I had
Okay.
All right, what if I had this like conceptual sea of souls that you draw into reality by influencing it? What's that? Or what if I have like this fundamental coding language of the universe that is like beyond concepts? What's that? Like what is that?
When you try to categorize a bunch of fiction into like such finite amount of categories to the point where you get to 3, that you're probably gonna get a lot of people in the comments be like, well, what about this one? What about this one? What about this other one?
Oh, someone said something dumb in chat. Verse equalization is not necessarily good or bad. It's just a condition that can be turned on or off. I think if you're turning it off, you are wrong, like fundamentally, because you're not talking about what occurs within the story anymore. You're like trying to remove the character entirely from their fiction.
Mm-hmm.
It's like really stupid to do it.
Like,
it's like if you're playing D&D and you're playing like a wizard, you're basically saying, oh, well, what if wizards didn't have magic? And it's like, so it's a dude.
mm-hmm.
And then like someone pulls up like something from 2E where it's like, oh, well, actually wizards are special even when they don't have magic. And then you look like an idiot.
You know,
Like, no, always verse equalize. You know, never pull the, well, we don't know if magic would work. It's like, why wouldn't it? Like,
I really hope that he gets into the... I'm guessing he's about to get into what the categorized as.
Now, magic-based power systems are probably the most common ones you'll encounter, especially if you read a lot of isekai manga like me. However, even among shonen,
he's an isekai watcher? Okay. Oh boy.
Oh wait, look at that Goku render right there too. Look at him.
Yep.
Man, that was 90s. Oh, okay. Wait, wait, let me grab a screenshot. I'm gonna ask Trent, where's it from? He'll know.
I think I've seen that. I've seen that one before. It's a Cell Saga one.
Yeah, I think it's probably from like the Daizenshi or something. That's like a raw.
There's the Solower of Shonen right there, Bobobo, right there.
Yep.
Solower of Shonen.
Yep.
Fairly popular series which use a magic-based power system are Fairy Tail, Black Clover, and the 7 Deadly Sins. And the crux of a magic-based system is that there is some fundamental magic energy, which is usually called mana, as seen in Black Clover. However, this fundamental
pause. Is Sage Mode magical? Is Sage Mode magical?
Some people often categorize Naruto as like not like ninjas capable of like exuding magic. These are literally just performing like things called jutsu, which are effectively just using like conducting spells from like a spiritual system with like that's inside themselves.
It won't be. Well, let's see what it says. So it says mana is a supernatural energy that exists in the world and inside people. So how would like is Sage Mode magic? Is it now not like you know?
Yeah.
Very, very important question. And what about like a conceptual sea of souls? Like what's that? Because that's outside of the world. It's beyond concepts.
It's sometimes given other names, such as Ether Nano in Fairy Tail. And of course, this fundamental magic energy is the source of power used to carry out various different applications.
Wait, so if we're gonna like treat these things as not the same,
why would both of
these different magics be the same? Just because they're both called magic?
Yeah, like,
do you
by
not
being...
see what type of argument you're inviting upon yourself by making this whole thing? Is like you're like treating like, oh, it's so simple. If they're just called magic, we should just assume they're the same. That's when we assume they're the same, guys. It's like, no, I can easily do that exact same thing onto you, where I'll be all nitpicky and be like, okay, why are these magic systems the same? What about how it's described here? That's not how it's described in Fairy Tail. That's not how it's described in Black Clover.
Just showed up. What I miss? Straw man.
This guy just massively strawmanning the whole point of Versus Equalization.
Yeah. All right, let's keep watching.
Which is what is called magic. Now, depending on the specific rendition of the magic-based system, to carry out magic may require, at least in part, the utilization of a spellbook, such as seen in Black Clover. But this is not always.
You remember how at the beginning of the video he said that some people say that all magic systems are actually the same?
And he's ultimately saying that they're kind of the same.
Yeah, he's like the renditions of the magic, which implies that like there's this hidden magic system that like everybody's copying.
Yeah.
Like, dog, how do you not like how does this make it through editing, dude?
Is
like,
the case,
all right.
such as seen in Fairy Tail and
wait. One more. You like I forgot what this dude's name is, but dude, you need to know, man. You don't like not a yes man. You need someone who thinks your stuff is terrible to like go through this because your argument is incoherent.
Yeah.
Like you're contradicting yourself. Like, man.
This is why. This is why people you have like multiple friends and or people go through. If you ever are try to become a YouTube power skiller or just make scripts in general. Have someone who is not you go through your own script if they are willing and see if they're willing to actually critique it. Because you'll find out that your first it's often what's that literature guy's name? I'm trying to
literature
guy? He's I'm trying to remember his name.
You can't even tell me anything about it.
No, he famously said that like the first draft of everything is shit.
Oh, well, what I usually say is your first draft has like your baby syndrome. That's your baby.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. And then if you have someone else like, no, this is bad.
Yeah. Ernest Hemingway is who I was thinking of. Ernest Hemingway. Yeah, but no, I was literally listening to a comedian who was talking about that exact same thing. Where he's like, I'm afraid to like putting my book out there because I'm having like the baby syndrome. Like this is my baby, and it's not until I show it to other people will I realize whether or not it's a piece of shit baby.
Yep. All right, let's keep watching.
Yeah.
A spellbook, such as seen in Black Clover, but this is not always the case, such as seen in Fairy Tail and Seven Deadly Sins. Then, the non-magic energy system describes all power systems, where like magic-based systems...
Wait, no, pause. So this is the other category? All magic systems? Besides magic? Like, what?
Anything that's just not magic.
What?
Anything that's just not magic, so it's just a super, super, super broad category. Man...
Yeah, either you're magical or...
You know what this is ultimately doing? This is ultimately, like, acting like he's presenting the whole premise of, these aren't the same, but then he presents them in broad categories with each other.
Yeah.
Which, more or less, you're kind of like, their only distinguishing feature is that they're not called magic. Which, by the way, chat, if you have ever thought about playing devil's advocate, ever, you would know how to immediately dismantle this argument by being like, okay, why? It's like, let's talk about the definition of magic real quick. Like, why isn't key magic? Why can't I define it as magic? So it said, how is non-magic magic?
I mean, you could have something that's like trans-dual to the idea of magic that's not magic, but also magic, but like, no, this guy's dumb.
Yeah, well, like some people like in the real world define magic as science. It's like scientific
advanced science.
It's like things that are unexplained by science, like phenomenon that occur that can't be broadly explained by logic and or science.
There, in in Warhammer. There are Necrons, and they have Techno Arcana, which is supposed to be just advanced science, but they call it Techno Magic,
Right.
and they don't use the warp. They're like anti-warp. So it's like, what now?
Yeah.
Let's keep watching.
fundamental energy source that is used to carry out various applications. But unlike magic-based systems, the fundamental energy is not magic energy. It is something else. So for
What is
example,
magic energy?
But what is it then?
Wait, yeah, so he's bringing up Naruto, presumably to not be magic. Is Sage Mode magic?
Yeah.
Isn't there supposed to be a third category? Dude, I forgot. I've been getting actually mad at this. This is so stupid.
How is he grouping everything that isn't magic as one thing? It feels too broad. That's what I've been saying. It's so broad to the point where you're basically saying all these things have one thing in common. They're not magic. They're something else. Like...
See, in like One Piece, you know, they have the devil fruit categories, right? Like Logia is anything that's a natural element. Zone is anything that turns you into an animal. And Paramecia is the other. And Paramecia is broad as hell, including things that are a lot like a Logia. But the thing is One Piece's thing is all in universe. It's not something like authoritative from outside the world or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Let's keep watching.
Okay.
Naruto, the fundamental energy is chakra, and of course, its applications are called jutsus. In Bleach, the fundamental energy is spiritual energy, which is technically called Ryoku, but this is often used interchangeably with Reishi, Ryatsu, and sometimes Renyaku. But we'll go over the nuances of the Bleach naming conventions in a different video. For now, just know that the fundamental energy in Bleach is spiritual energy, and its applications we can more or less call spiritual techniques. In One Piece, the fundamental energy is Haki, or if you're from Wano, it is called Ryu, and the applications
Wait, no,
are also
pause.
called
Uh-oh.
So are devil fruit abilities magical or non-magical, and why?
Yeah, I would love to see your explanation for why devil fruits are just not magic.
Yeah,
I would love to hear something like that.
let's keep.
Haki, but to avoid confusion, we'll call them Haki techniques. In Jujutsu Kaisen, the fundamental energy is cursed energy, and its applications can be called Jujutsu or Jujutsu sorcery.
Wait,
in
pause,
Hunter x Hunter,
pause.
the fundamental
Pause. I might be on the cap. I'm pretty sure I'm on the cap about this one, but isn't there like lore and someone please like enlighten me in the comments or whatever, because I didn't like JJK, but isn't there like lore in JJK that actually being like a jujitsu sorcerer is unnatural?
Yep.
And that's like, isn't that in the series? I'm on the cap.
No.
Am I gonna have to text Pins about it?
No, I'm fairly certain that that's like the whole thing, and then just like it was treated as something weird, and that like Yuji was able to see spirits and everything.
Yeah. All right, let's keep watching.
energy is called Nen, and its applications we'll call Nen techniques. In World Trigger, the fundamental energy is called Trion,
what?
and its applications are
This man's just going down the obscurity ladder.
Yeah.
I didn't want you to pause. I was just making a comment.
technically called triggers, but for simplicity, we'll call them Trion techniques. And
Wait,
I'm sure you
someone
can
said
think
something
of
funny.
other examples.
Sorry. If JJK calls it sorcery, isn't it magic? However, is he defining it? Yeah, no, facts.
Good fucking question.
Facts.
Paulo is asking the real fucking questions right now.
Lamar said, yeah, there are non-sorcerers in JJK. I'm aware. There's also, like, non-ninjas in Naruto, right? And, like, the samurai who you... But that's not my point. I'm saying, isn't being, like, a jujitsu... Like, isn't, like, jujitsu in general unnatural? Like, it's not like... You're... Yeah.
Well, like, it's more unnatural to be completely devoid of any cursed energy.
Oh, heavenly restriction.
Like, heavenly restriction, yeah.
Yeah, they're always that's something common, and I'm saying magic system, but don't get that confused with what this dumbass is saying.
Yeah.
I think calling anything in fiction a magic system is fine as long as we're under the assumption that magic system just means power system or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep watching.
Examples. Then, the non-energy based system category is for all other power systems that do not have some underlying fundamental energy. For example, quirks from My Hero Academia.
No. So this is everything that doesn't have an energy, but what about bending?
well, technically bending does have an energy, but
Yeah, but so do quirks. They use like your metabolic energy.
Yeah.
Like it's not just free.
Yeah. And also like the thing is with quirks too is that they're actively something that you can train up and make stronger. It's not just like something you can like you just achieve and you have all the abilities of it granted to you. Like you actively have to train. Like quirks are something you can study, and that they've figured out. Oh, this is how you can like, you can what's the word I'm looking for? You can
Utilize.
You can like tailor somebody's like training to how their quirk works, and then make them stronger by then using said training to making them stronger.
Yeah, man.
And it doesn't help that like the way that like One for All works kind of like implies that it's kind of like an energy source,
Yeah.
and like things are like passed down from it. Like, no, I don't know if I can necessarily agree that this is like quirks are just.
I don't think that, like, you know, if we take like Ace, right? Ace doesn't use hockey to make his fire, but like there's a limit if he's tired, you know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously. I don't think that means his fire is magically different from like anybody else's fire powers. Like no. Like the only difference I would ever say is that like his fire is natural fire, and so that might like have some consequences if we fought a Naruto character. Because in Naruto,
I swear to God, if this motherfucker says Toon Force in here, I swear.
If it says Toon Force, you better go get a drink, dude. Better take a shot.
Are more or less the result of genetic mutations. There is no specific underlying energy, like magic energy or spiritual energy, which fuel the abilities of quirks. Similarly, Devil Fruits from One Piece is another power system that again more or less operates on genetic mutation. There is no fundamental underlying energy that fuels Devil Fruit abilities. Other popular examples.
What? Are you sure about that one?
Dog, like...
Are you sure about that one?
Requiring, like, metabolic energy doesn't mean... Like, taijutsu requires the same energy. Like, that chakra example in Naruto that you called magic, one half of it is literally just metabolic energy. Like, there's this really good video. I forgot what the guy's channel is called, but he does, like, avatar videos really in-depth, and he talks about hard and soft magic systems. And a trait of soft magic systems, i.e. soft power systems, is that you get tired. And that's like the only consequence. And like a hard magic system is like where you need like to say the word, do a symbol, and have like a petal of rosemary to cast magic stone.
Yep.
Like
also, if we're using the whole fact that like non-energy based systems are something that's purely genetic, so are we saying that because in Black Clover, magic is everything, and it's basically the whole center of the whole world. And royals are literally just people who had high magic like mana pools that breeded with each other, so they can create strong wizards. And Asa was just the really unlucky one that was born with no magic at all. And then ended up getting chosen by like the 5-leaf grimoire. And was given anti-magic. Is that not... would that be considered a non-energy based system by your standards because it's genetic?
Someone's basically saying, oh, well, there's no reason to verse equalize. It's because why wouldn't you? It's not just that it's more convenient. There's no reason not to. Like, there's no big objection. You're saying that two burgers are different because one has tomato, but they're both burgers. Yeah. Like, you're picturing, like, you know, oh, well, you know, actually, like, non-equalization would be right. It's like, it wouldn't. You're insisting that natural fire in One Piece has to be different from natural fire in Naruto for no reason.
Yeah. Basically,
like,
the thing is that we do, like, whenever we're talking about verse equalization, is that we do note the differences between the two energy systems, despite the fact that we are equalizing them, because we're talking about their different applications whenever they're fighting each other. Saying, oh, Ki allows them to do all this stuff. Chakra allows them to do all this stuff. How do these characters fight each other, considering they have these different applications granted by their energy system? That's how we have these discussions. That's why we verse equalize.
Someone else is bringing up magic. I don't think the label of magic actually means anything. Yeah. Like, when I've been saying magic system, I just mean power system, metaphysics, whatever. Yeah. It's just... how are they using their abilities?
Someone already mentioned in the chat earlier, but like the whole idea of calling something supernatural and not and saying it's not magic is already kind of getting into like the more like, again,
Semantics.
like super semantics territory, where it's just like this guy is just ultimately not getting into like why, like, ultimately he's asking for the game of semantics to be played with him because of what he's proposing.
Let's keep watching.
No fundamental underlying energy that fuels devil fruit abilities. Other popular examples of this would be negations from undead unlock, and abnormalities and minuses
quirks are oh yeah, he did say quirks are genetic.
Yeah, you did say
from mid-alpha box. Now obviously, the person's stamina or other such physical factors are usually the limiting factors for these type of powers, but a basic rule of thumb is if you encounter a power system for which you can think of some named fundamental energy that fuels the abilities, then it probably falls into this category. Now with that understood,
so this is just anything that's metabolic, but then taijutsu from Naruto falls in here. And you still haven't talked about what Sage Mode would be.
Yeah, well, the thing is, too, is that quirks didn't just randomly come from, randomly just spawn out of nowhere, or was always a thing. It came from one singular person. Almost kind of like how chakra was birthed into Naruto.
I think that got retconned, but yeah.
Like, well, it's just crazy to think that, like, based off of, like, your broad definition, like, chakra would also fall in there, because no one was born, because it's, like,
chakra's... Chakra...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, chakra's like your soul energy mixed with like your metabolic energy.
Yeah.
Like it's not like there's...
Which is genetic, by the way. Like, you could just have, like Naruto, like, the whole reason why he had a huge chakra pull was because he was an Uzumaki.
Yeah. Let's keep watching.
Start to get into some of the main points that come up around the equalization of power systems. Let us start off with one of the most common arguments I encounter, which I dub the universal energy argument. This, at its core, is usually phrased something like, yeah, even though they're all from different verses, with a multitude of verse-specific considerations, regardless of this, they're all still just energy, so they should all still just be treated the same.
Straw man.
No one argues this.
Like
I want you to point to somebody who's actually worth anything that argues this.
All right, wait. And what he's going to point out here is he's going to be like, oh, well, in this verse, magic works on, like, these people specifically, but in this other verse, there are people who are, like, immune. Are you saying that, like, they should be the same? Watch. Let's keep watching.
This is akin to a preschooler's level of engagement with the ideas. Again, with even
preschoolers that don't exist.
Cursory level of understanding of power systems, you'd at least be aware that even though a fire attack from a fire quirk user from My Hero Academia, for example, is energy, just casually putting that in the same category as a fire jutsu from the Naruto series, for example, does not necessarily make any sense, given that the latter...
No, in Naruto, they make a very specific distinction between natural fire, or really lightning is where it comes up, and chakra-based ones. This is a complete... What's the word? This is not equatable at all. Like, I think if you're doing this, you know, I think it's fine to say, well, fire is fire, but when you look into brass tacks, Madara would just inject chakra into the fire and control it.
Yeah.
Like, no, they are not the same. No one should say they're the same. Yeah. Bad example. Keep going.
Is from an energy-based system, while the former is not. However, even though at
Wait, no, go back 2 seconds.
From an energy-based system,
yep. Wait till they're both on screen. Pause. Huh? What does that blue one say? Surfbone?
Body energy.
Huh? And what's the left one talking about?
A basic body. What we call quirks are special additions to the original body, or the plus alpha elements. Everything included with the plus alpha are what we call the quirk factors.
It's almost like they're both using metabolic energy, Surfbone. Huh.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, wow.
That's actually crazy. Oh,
let's keep playing.
And no, I've not seen Eon's versus Equalization video, and I also...
If you want us to watch it, drop a 20.
Yep.
Not. However, even though at an abstract level, you might understand factually that this is the case, at a more practical level, you might not understand why this is important. So to illustrate this, let us work through some examples. In the manga, From Now On I Will Become the Father of the Mage, the main character specializes in magic nullification due to a very high magic resistance. Thus, as you would imagine, magic attacks generally do not work against him. However, because everything is obvious...
Yeah.
Well, like what's magic in the verse?
Yeah.
Like you're not telling us anything about it. You're
Yeah.
like you're trying to be obscure for a reason.
Yeah.
That's probably why you picked like this manga that no one's read too. Is so you can make this example and be dishonest about it.
Yeah. Like again, if you're not going to verse equalize and not say that these magic-based systems are the same, then you should be like telling us what magic is in this verse to then prove further that the distinction that like just calling something magic doesn't mean it's the same. If you're going to make this whole problem saying that verse equalization is really fucking stupid, then you shouldn't be broadly calling these things magic.
If chakra uses body and spirit, isn't it both magic and genetics? Well,
Kind of.
there are, yeah, kind of. Like, Amaterasu is genetics, right? And it's like the highest form of fire manip in the verse, right? But like, you also have like the Asaka Jaku from Guy, which is just pure physical power. So, all right, let's keep watching.
Not magic. When faced with a non-magic attack, like a natural lightning blast from a natural lightning dragon, the main character can still be hurt by this because again, natural lightning is not the same as...
See, he's like pointing out the same example I pointed out a bit ago, where you can obviously look into this. So if Sasuke used Kirin, it would work. Right. But like, maybe his like normal lightning attacks wouldn't work. And this is something we can point out in verses and point out the similarities and then equalize them.
Yeah.
Let's keep watching.
Magic lightning. And this is basically the core reason why casually trying to treat all power systems as if they are the same not only does not make any sense, but in many of these instances, you are not only overextending the effects of a particular system, but you are also even contradicting the source material. But again, you may not read as many niche manga like me, so you may think I'm just drawing from the extremes.
I don't think you read it either.
No. He unironically said, "Oh, but you don't like." He's like reading Bleach is like reading watching Rick and Morty. Like,
yeah,
it's just made him infinitely smarter by proxy.
Yeah, you have to have a high IQ to watch that time I was reincarnated as a mini fridge. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
So let us consider an example from a more popular series, Naruto. So as we already mentioned, in Naruto, the underlying energy is chakra. And this energy known as chakra is a specific energy that flows through every individual in the Naruto world through a cardiovascular light network known as the Kairakuke that is integrated with every organ of their body down to a cellular level. And this specific energy known as chakra is what they use to carry out their jutsus. So for example, the ninjutsu known...
Yeah, what is that like chakra based on? What are the two things that get mixed there in order to create chakra? I wonder what.
Yeah. What are they needing together when they need chakra? I wonder what they're doing.
I wonder.
As Chidori is just a chakra-based technique that involves the materialization of normal raw chakra, then changing this normal raw chakra to lightning nature chakra, and also changing the chakra's form so that it discharges like lightning. So Kakashi isn't actually holding lightning in his hand, he's instead holding chakra that has been manifested and changed to behave like lightning. And the fireball jutsu isn't actually fire, it is chakra that has been manifested and changed to behave like fire. With that understood, we can take a look at a character like Kizami, who's able to absorb the chakra of a regular chakra-derived ninjutsu. But as we already explained, most chakra-derived elemental ninjutsu isn't the real element. So Kizame obviously could not absorb Might Guy's Hiradura, which is literally a real wind that is highly compressed. It is not a chakra-derived winjutsu. Similarly, Kizame could not absorb
go back to that scene with Naruto. Forward a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, quick play. Let it play for a few seconds.
It is not a chakra-derived.
Pause. Alright, he got lucky this time. It's when he used the normal Rasen Shuriken. I was about to say, if he was in Sage Mode, I was going to flip my shit. Let's keep watching.
Yeah.
Derived winjutsu. Similarly, Kizame could not absorb Might Guy's flame punches, which is a real fire derived from Might Guy literally setting the air on fire through friction generated by punching very fast. Thus again, the real thing, not a chakra-derived replica. And similarly, six-pack...
That doesn't prove your point, though. That doesn't ultimately prove your point that versus equalization is stupid.
So wait, someone just said, did he just debunk his own two different types of fire from earlier by accident? Yes.
Unironically.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. This guy needs a hater to watch his videos.
Yeah.
You take verse equalization? No, verse equalization doesn't mean you get the rules of someone else's power system. like in the sense like you die if you run out of hockey.
Yeah, that's why I said
Which-
so the whole point of Versus Equalization is so that hockey attacks can interact with chakra. That's what we're saying. Not that they literally do the same thing. I had to say this to someone earlier that just because you're equalizing them for the sake that they can interact with each other doesn't then mean that like say like because a character in Dragon Ball could use ki to then allow them the ability to fly doesn't then mean that because someone else is now equalized in that same manner doesn't mean that they can use that same energy system to fly if they'd ever shown to be able to do that.
Let's see what he's gonna say about Six Paths energy. Let's keep watching.
Characters like Madara and Obito are immune to and can nullify
Obito?
regular chakra-based ninjutsu like Amaterasu. But again, being that regular chakra ninjutsu isn't the real element, Six Paths characters like Madara was not immune to and could not nullify the first step of Might Guy's Even Elephant, which again is just a real wind that is highly compressed. Madara even specifically highlights how dangerous it would be to get hit by more of these compressed air punches. So trying to equalize chakra-based elemental ninjutsu with attacks from Logias from One Piece, for example.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I think that's fine. I think Akainu's magma would not be affected by a TSO. I've been making that argument for years. This is another straw man. Like if you're like who's out like I think it's fine to say like, oh well, if a character in Naruto is shown and knows how to use normal elements, which most of them do. Like there are when there's a distinction between using a natural element and making it yourself. In Naruto, and a lot of characters can use normal elements, like using the water to make Water Dragon, or the ground to make Mud Wall. They would just be able to like try to manipulate the magma Akainu makes.
Yeah.
It's not this end all be all you're making it out to be.
Yeah.
Literally makes no sense, because we know that Logias are not using chakra derived or mana derived or some other derived replica of these elements. No, a Logia's lineage factor or their bloodline element, that is the literal blueprint of their life itself, was altered at a fundamental level to literally make them into a certain natural element. So as stated specifically in the One Piece manga, and also stated by the author himself, and again reiterated in Road to Laugh Tale Volume 3, they are literally the true version of the element found in nature.
Yeah,
so trying to equalize a Logia's attack with an
And based on how, like, the fact that, like, characters like Sasuke can literally create jutsu where their basis is literally using their chakra to grab natural energy, natural, like, lightning, and shape it into a dragon and throw it at the ground. Therefore, you can actually use the fact that, like, you can use, like, chakra-based attacks to effectively, like, say if, like Akainu shot out a magma like fucking attack, then they can realistically attack, like hit something with like a chakra based attack and also like collide with it. It's not gonna slide through it.
Nate pointed out something in chat, but we've seen in Naruto though, when Naruto first used that stage mode Rasengan and Obito, it didn't just like one shot them. They still have durability. It's just that they're like they have TSOs which can negate chakra and dismantle it.
Yeah.
Like, let's keep watching.
An elemental ninjutsu is literally changing what a Logia is down to a fundamental level, and this equalization will literally just be making an attack which we know should work as established by the Naruto lore itself. Equalization would be going against the Naruto lore and making the true element not work.
But no one is trying to argue saying that like, oh my god, this dude just doesn't get it. He honestly doesn't get it. I don't know who he's arguing against or why he's bringing up this stuff.
He doesn't get that, like, while Kisame did get hurt by it, he was fighting Guy and taking attacks from Guy. He didn't just get one shot by it.
Yeah.
So Akainu wouldn't just one shot Madara.
Yeah. And it doesn't help either that like me and Noodles mentioned this in our last stream when someone was trying to bring up this whole thing about how supposedly like Madara would be vulnerable to like the Admiral's attacks because they're not chakra based or whatever, and that like this whole thing about how like Akainu is made out of real magma and everything, and then it's just like, oh, but if we look at a character like the Jinchuriki of Son Goku, who's literally like has like this armor that burns as hot as magma, stated verbatim. or how like Mei's like magma jutsu is stated to burn as hot as lava, and like has like the same like attributes as lava at all that point. So at that point, it's like, then what is the, if you're gonna make this real comparison that's lava, but like the jutsu are able to like make something on a similar level, but with jutsu that are chakra based, then what's the whole like big distinction of having it be natural like lava or natural magma? Besides the fact that they can't just like actually hurt
Hurt the Six
Kaiju.
Paths characters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. The point should be, in Naruto especially, like Sage Mode or natural things don't just one shot you. They still have to be significantly strong. So let's
But
keep watching.
we kind of someone mentioned in the chat, we kind of did say that like Sage Energy would be a way in order to attack Logias.
Oh no, 100%. 100%. I think it'd be able to attack them. You know, there's a Sage ability called like inorganic animation that Kabuto uses. Frog Kumite would probably work too. That's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And
Good
this
watch.
distinction is even discussed in Boruto, where it is emphasized that Jigen can't use the normal Okutsu Karma Chakra absorption ability on real flames, because again, real flames are not the same as chakra-based flames. Thus a chakra
I said that
absorption
earlier.
technique obviously would not work on something that is not chakra, which is why he had to use a
100%.
size manipulation technique to shrink the flames instead. So again, just because two things are energy and may even behave similarly, that does not mean that at a fundamental level they are the same thing, or should be treated as such in non-superficial analysis.
Again,
Alright,
no
pause.
one is exactly arguing with you here on this level, dude.
Notice how he kind of resolved the problem anyways by establishing that in some verses magical fire is different from regular fire, and here's why it would be different. But then he completely glosses over how when there's that difference, AP and stuff still matters. He's creating a problem.
Yeah. He's not actually solving a problem by pointing out a problem, he's creating one.
Yeah, 100%.
The next argument that usually comes up is one which I typically refer to as the composition argument, and it is usually phrased something like, because this energy is derived from other energies, it should be treated the same as the other energies from which it is derived. Now this argument is typically only really brought up when discussing chakra, and that is because, unlike most other energy-based systems, chakra is actually a composite fundamental energy. That is, it is actually derived from the combination of even more basic energies. So in the Naruto world, there are three fundamental energies. The first is called physical energy, which is an energy that is collected from each of the body's cells and can be increased through training,
It's
stimulants, and
metabolic
exercise.
energy.
The second is called mental energy, which is also sometimes called spiritual energy, and this is derived from the mind's consciousness and can be increased through studying, meditation, and experience. And the third energy is called nature energy, and this is a usually imperceptible external energy that exists in nature throughout the Naruto world. So regular chakra is a specific energy
It's
form.
derived from nature. It's literally like taking energy from nature and putting it and driving it into yourself.
Yeah.
That's why, like, if you bring in too much nature energy, you turn into a frog, for instance.
Yeah.
Formed. When an individual combines their internal physical and mental energies together, then Sage Chakra is a separate specific energy formed when an individual combines their internal physical and mental energies together with the external nature energy. So this argument
Are they
usually
magic?
comes up in something like a cross-verse battle of Naruto against Bleach, for example, where you'll typically hear something like, because the truth-seeking orbs can negate regular chakra-based ninjutsu, and chakra is in part spiritual energy, they should then be able to negate the spiritual power-based attacks from the Bleach verse.
Yeah,
And
why not?
understand, this is
Oh, I can't wait to hear what he has to say to this.
Not
This better be a really good ass argument. I'm ready.
Like not only that, but like in Bleach, we've seen that like they don't really have that distinction between like Ryatsu slashes versus like a regular slash. Like that's never really made.
Oh,
Like no one looks.
Paulo brought up like another good question.
Oh,
Since this guy
this
is separating magic systems from genetic systems, what about Marvel movies where magic and science are said to be the same thing? How does this guy categorize that?
He would like ban you and delete your comment because he doesn't have an answer.
Yeah.
fringe argument. This was one of the main arguments used in Death Battle's Madara versus
Oh no, Death Battle got something right for once.
Yeah. Also, Noodles, yes, it has been a very, very shit video. We'll talk
Yeah, it's terrible.
Honestly, we might just bring
Terrible.
you onto the stream here in a bit or something.
Eisen video, which tilted the scales in favor of Madara. Now, this one is a little harder to parse through for two main
pause
reasons.
again.
First,
I will run the hands with this guy in Madara versus Aizen.
Oh yeah, we
Like I will conduct a home invasion on this dude. I will kick open the back door, cut the power off to his house, climb up the stairs wearing my night vision goggles, pick the lock to his bedroom door, and take a picture of him in bed with Aizen practicing their power scaling, and upload it to dorksfromyoutube.com. Username, not required. Password, not required. Man, this dude's an idiot.
Oh, God, I love that Shale Sudden quote. Forever will reign in infamy.
Just keep watching.
argument. This was one of the main arguments used in Death Battle's Madara vs. Aizen video, which tilted the scales in favor of Madara. Now, this one is a little harder to parse through for two main reasons. Firstly, your intuition will likely tell you that this reasoning makes sense. Thus, to see why this is not necessarily the case requires you to go against your intuition. Secondly, separate from chakra, there are not really any common examples of composite energies. So unlike with the first argument,
No,
it
there
is
is.
a little more
Pause
difficult.
again. Pause again.
No.
There definitely are composite energies. Like I can think of a few from more Western properties. Like it, using like metabolic energy and amping it with something else is pretty common. Like even in JJK, we see that like there is like a metabolic toll to using your powers. It's not just like free, right?
Yeah. And there's like some characters where like they don't have enough cursed energy, so they literally have to like use other cursed tools that have cursed energy in them in order for them to like better combat against others. Like,
Yeah.
or they literally have to like do this whole thing where they cancel out each other in order to create somebody that has heavenly restriction.
Yeah.
Can people please stop pronouncing it as Madara and Madara? Yeah.
Oh, Trent got back to me. It's apparently from one of the volume covers.
Oh, okay.
He's looking into it though.
For me to just show you a direct one-to-one comparison here. However, separate from just going, oh, that is just a fallacy of composition or division, I do think that there are a couple of examples that can help us show why this argument from
Yeah.
composition
you don't-
falls apart.
Yeah, like you don't just get to say fallacy and move on. You have to demonstrate why it's wrong or why it
Yeah,
wouldn't
demonstrate
follow.
why it's like a composition fallacy to your audience.
Yeah.
Like, because there's the whole argument about how, like, not all, like, just because something is a logical fallacy doesn't make it inherently wrong. You have to, like, because a logical fallacy is a common error made in logic, but that doesn't necessarily make it wrong, and you need to demonstrate also, if something is categorized under a certain fallacy, you then need to explain why it's a fallacy, and then after you do that, you then have to, like, actually explain why that's bad. Why that's a bad argument to make.
Yeah, it's like I went on that whole rant about, you know, like I said you were wrong about Aizen versus Madara, and then I cut a promo on you.
Yeah.
But that's not an ad hominem because I said you were wrong, and then I gave, you know, some fun stuff after it. Those are two different things. So let's keep
At its
going.
core. So firstly, if you read or watch Fairy Tail, then you know that magic
I
is
don't.
actually not the only power system. There is also curses. And because curses is technically a separate power system that is not magic, anti-magic obviously does not work on curses. However, even though we can clearly see that curses and magic are different, at least in some properties, they are still both actually derived from the same primordial source. That is, the so-called one true magic, with curses just being one divergent classes of this one true magic. And by the way, this one true magic is supposedly the emotion of love, which is not even that far-fetched, given that curses are said to be fueled from negative emotions, and there have been multiple occasions in Fairy Tail
pause.
where it is even
You know what else? You know what other verse has magical powers based on negative emotions that are called curses?
That's crazy.
Yeah, huh?
explicitly confirmed that emotions can be converted into magic energy. So when it is said that Fairy Tail is the power of friendship manga, you should be taking that quite literally. But let us not digress. The point I'm trying to illustrate with this example is that saying that two things should be treated the same simply due to a common origin or an intersection of component parts is a bit misguided. But again, let us see if we can expand
You
our
haven't
understanding.
actually disproved. You haven't
Yeah.
actually disproved it though. You pointed out an example.
Yeah, I was about to say, and then, now, granted, Six didn't make this argument, but he has presented it a lot on Twitter that An analogy is not an argument.
Oh no, it's definitely not. And also, arguing against an analogy also isn't a counter argument.
Yeah.
You have to actually provide something, and he never provided anything there besides yapping and me
Like,
getting mad at him.
The only reason why you would bring up an analogy in a conversation, especially in an argument, is for clarification. If you especially think that your opponent doesn't, if you think your opponent doesn't understand what you're getting at. So, for example, I had a conversation with a guy a week ago about the application of Toon Force and why it's really dumb to like try to surmise that the reason that these Western characters are able to do all these things because of something called Toon Force is because it's not actually based on anything. And what I use to supplement that to better illustrate what I mean by that is by providing an example of of a ball rolling down the hill. Now, we don't know the origin of why that ball ended up rolling down the hill, and I say you could say that it was like a little boy that kicked the ball down the hill, and I could have said that it was a bear that kicked it down the hill. But ultimately, what we end up coming to the conclusion of is that because we don't know the origin, we can't actually definitively say whether or not it was a bear or a kid. And that was the reason why I presented the analogy. But ultimately, that's not an argument. It was just to illustrate what I mean, what I say, that we don't, like, because you can't prove the origin of something, doesn't mean, it's like you can't, that's the whole problem with Toon Force, is that you can't actually prove it's derivative of some omnipresent force called Toon Force.
Yeah, I'm surprised this guy hasn't mentioned Toon Force. It's like the fourth magic system.
Yeah, honestly.
Standing off
Rolling
this
down
by
the
using
hill
another example.
force greater than Toon Force. Facts.
Facts.
Straight Hanans right there.
This time with cursed energy from Jujutsu Kaisen. So as we already mentioned,
JJ
cursed
mid.
energy is the fundamental energy in Jujutsu Kaisen, and cursed energy is basically an energy formed from the negative emotions produced by humans.
Man, those are the
now,
lightest
plants
people I've
typically
ever
do
seen
not
in
have
manga.
cursed energy, or as Hanami says, plants do not embrace cursed energy. However, plants do have life energy, which could mean a variety of things. But life energy, in the non-specific sense, most commonly refers to spiritual energy, and Hanami is able to convert this life energy of plants directly into cursed energy. So just because cursed energy can be formed from life energy, should we now automatically assume that they should be treated the same or have the same properties? Like, no,
As
obviously
what?
not. You even just
Like you're saying, like, oh, here are two different things. Should we say they're the same? It's like, no, they're stated to be different, like
Yeah.
explicitly. But if we apply that standard to everything, where's your statement that chakra and Ryatsu are different?
Yeah. Like
Like-
you haven't actually gone into like the whole argument of why Chakra and Ryatsu are not the same, or that they couldn't interact with each other.
Like I want to run the hands on
Like
fucking
you just
Aizen
keep
versus
bringing up
Madara,
but
dude.
Fairy Tail and other stuff, and then JJK and all this other stuff. Like you keep mentioning other verses, but we haven't even gotten to the main point of the argument, which was discussing why Madara versus Aizen can't happen because you can't equalize their energy systems. If he's grouping all like life energy as spiritual energy, isn't he equalizing?
Yeah, he's a massive hypocrite, dude.
Oh my god.
literally heard that plants don't embrace cursed energy, yet you'd be saying at base they're full of the thing they don't embrace? Like, come on now. Similarly, still within Jujutsu Kaisen, a more complex yet a more clear example of this is cursed energy versus positive energy. Positive energy is formed directly from cursed energy via reverse curse techniques through a process akin to multiplying a negative by another negative to produce a positive. Yet the properties of positive energy are so different than that of cursed energy that despite this being its origin, curses bodies, for example, which are composed entirely of cursed energy, if exposed to positive energy, it can compromise the integrity of their cursed energy body and destroy them. Now, probably an even more clear example of this is from Black Clover with Ki, a separate power system from magic that basically represents the life energy of a thing. So, as we learned with the Zetten, Ki can actually be converted into magic power, which by now you should have realized is pretty standard for almost all power systems that are not already explicitly stated to be based on life or spirit energy,
Pause
like
again.
as we already mentioned.
Yeah, I pointed this out earlier, but loads of magic systems have this thing where it's like you have to use energy from outside, but you can use your own metabolic energy to do it. But when you do it, it's extremely taxing. It's a very common trope. And the more you keep saying, like, all these verses do it, it's like, it's almost like a lot of these power systems would interact how you think
Yeah.
they would.
And the thing is, too, like, you can easily make, like, a video where it's just, like, Key from Dragon Ball versus Key from Black Clover, and then discuss their similarities and their differences. Because sometimes it gets into that, like, territory where even though they're called the same thing, their applications are different, and they're often defined differently in what their foundations are. And you can have this whole discussion about it, and then be like, okay, if we're to have this, like, actual discussion and how they interact, like, how would we have this discussion? And then you get into that. And you end up having a progressive conversation about these energy systems, because you're extrapolating them for the audience, and then after you do that, you then talk about how they would interact with each other if they even could, and then explain why. That's how you make a productive video.
Oh.
But this
Paulo's
guy...
been spitting facts, dude. Holy shit.
But this...
Paulo guy in the chat?
Yeah.
I can't even elaborate. This guy's just spitting facts here. Good lord.
Like,
this whole video...
to destroy the equalization.
That too.
Paulo is on fire right now.
Yeah, no, man, we gotta get him in here, dude.
Yep. Paulo, you should definitely join my server. Just saying.
Yeah, like, this whole video is, like, giving you a reason they should be the same, like Curses and Fairy Tail and Cursed Energy, and then insisting they shouldn't be the same because of petty bullshit.
Yeah,
that can easily
you
be
haven't
resolved.
actually, like, given a like, you're just saying because they can applied in different ways, therefore they're not the same, and therefore they can't interact with each other. Like, you didn't actually explain why they can't interact. You just explained how they're different, and what their different applications are.
You know, Surfbone, Luffy's Devil Fruit is way different from Buggy's Devil Fruit, so I don't think they can interact.
Oh shit, bro.
Yeah, wow.
But aren't they both Devil Fruit users?
No, they act different. They can't possibly interact with each other.
Yeah.
See, this is the route. You know, Hockey and the Six Powers, those are totally different, man.
Yep.
You know, if you used Tekai and he used Armament Hockey and you touched, it'd be like matter and antimatter, obviously. And like, this dude would come out of like the woodworks and break your knees with like a lead pipe if you tried to do that.
Yeah. Oh god, this video sucks.
Chakra is formed from life or spirit energy. Cursed energy can be formed.
Nope. Well, kind of, but not really. It's
life
not,
or spirit
it's not
energy.
necessarily
Like as we
life
already
energy.
mentioned, chakra is formed from life or spirit energy.
Because nature energy is kind of like, in a way, it depends. Again, we're getting into the semantics here. Like, why are you calling spirit inner body energy life energy? Like, do you not realize though, like, the whole reason why, like, there's like different distinctions of what life energy is in different like series? Like the whole point of like you going against not equalizing verses is to make the distinction of just because it's called said thing doesn't mean it is the same thing. Why are you saying that this is life energy when it's not called life energy? Why?
Bro, sir, Paulo just dropped another bomb in chat.
Oh no.
He's dropping bombs.
Oh no, punching is kinetic energy, so Goku can't punch because that's a different power system from Chi. They can't interact.
Bro, Paulo is dropping bombs in chat, dude. Oh my god. Man, they're gonna have to put a warning on Paulo like they do cigarettes.
Yeah.
If this dude debated Paulo, it'd be bad for his health.
Yeah.
Like, goddamn.
No, Mark kind of just gave me an idea, like, if you tried to, like, explain to this guy, it's like, what happened if you drop somebody like Iron Fist into My Hero Academia? Would he just not be able to do anything? Because his energy system is derived from Chi, but there are quirks. So would they just not be able to interact with each other and we can't have this conversation now?
Yeah, like, what about, like, the difference between, like I said, like, the two Human Torches, John Hammond and Johnny Storm?
Yeah.
Like, one uses radioactive fire and one uses, like, quote-unquote regular fire. That can, like, power a sun. See Secret Wars for that one.
Yeah, like, what happens if we have, say, for instance, Ghost Rider from Marvel interact with, who's the...
Like, Etrigan?
Etrigan, yeah, that's what I was about to bring up. Yeah, Etrigan.
Yeah, like Hellfire.
It's like, oh, It's like they're both from hell and their powers are derived from hellfire. Oh, but oh no, they're so different, guys. Like, they're actually just so different that they can't even like interact with each other like at all.
Yeah. There's like a joke I used to make, not even like a joke, but like a project idea I had, which was like shonen by the numbers, where you write a bunch of shonen and you wrote like the statistically average shonen series, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, oh, you have like the intro arc, and then you have a war arc, you know, all that stuff, right? And with all these like mentions of how similar power systems are, I wonder what the average power system is. You know what I mean?
Toshiro's
Like-
I always wonder what is even the criteria for interaction for these anti-equalizers. Nothing. They don't have a criteria, and it's basically this video is the epitome of it, where you just completely strawman the opposing side, not understand what you're even arguing, be hypocritical with your own logic, and not realize that you're actually broadly categorizing them and equalizing them more than we are.
You want to see this guy debate? I want to see him debate one of those people that thinks that like everything's canon to each other through crossovers.
If you drop
Like,
a nuke in My Hero Academia, everyone, included background characters, would be unaffected because nuclear energy is not a quirk. Can't interact.
Damn straight, son.
Oh yeah. The person. Oh yeah, that's true. Unless it's a nuke quirk, then they can interact. That's true.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, facts.
It has to be a nuke quirk.
Yeah, so like if you have like, we could do this with like feats too. He's saying like you can't equalize power system. Let's do feats too. If you destroy a building in My Hero, you're My Hero building level.
Yeah, you're only My Hero building level. You know what? I personally believe that those buildings. I don't know if the jet fuel that was used to take down those buildings was necessarily hot enough to like melt down real buildings. Like, I don't know. It's like, I think the Twin Towers could have easily like withstand that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Those are IRL building level.
Yeah, I think that even though that building is stated to be the same and it looks the same and it acts the same, I think it's just like arbitrarily weaker. I think they're weaker for no real reason other than you can't prove otherwise.
Oppenheimer has the strongest quirk. True. True. Only bullet quirks can kill quirk users. True.
I use the quirk to destroy the quirk, you see.
Energy. Cursed energy can be formed from life or spirit energy, and again magic, even from other series like the Seven Deadly Sins, or That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, can be derived from life or spirit energy particles. So now ask yourself, just because ki can be converted into magic, should we now just automatically treat ki and magic as the same thing? So anti-magic should now automatically cancel out ki? Again,
why not?
This obviously makes no sense. And ki being separate from magic, and thus being able to coexist with anti-magic, was one of the main principles of Asta's character as a
it's
whole
almost like
from
Sage
even
mode.
early
Wow.
in the series. As a matter of fact, Asta is now able to just outright convert magic into anti-magic, or at least give anti-magic properties to magic. Thus, should we now automatically treat magic and anti-magic as the same thing? Again, I'm sure you'd understand how silly it is to say this. Now, I could give more examples, but needless to say, by now...
You making these examples didn't actually end up presenting an argument. I want you to hope, however you pronounce your name, if you end up watching this stream, I really hope that you just realize you didn't actually present an argument for why Chakra and Ryatsu can't interact with each other. You literally brought up like several examples within the span of 5 minutes, like being like, oh, but like these like work the same and they're derived from the same thing, but because of different applications, that means that they can't interact with each other. Like,
if like mana in like Black Clover or whatever, and like or Magic whatever, has this like exception to it called like ki, and ki can't be nullified by magic. And then if we go into D&D, where if your DM allows it according to the rules, ki also isn't magic. I don't see why they can't interact with each other.
Give me a gun and I can beat Goku because he can't interact with me or the gun. True.
Damn straight.
Paulo's just straight up dropping bombs.
Dog,
man, put this guy in a ring with Paulo. Paulo's coming out on top, bro.
Yep. Oh.
He's beating his ass.
Now, I think it should be clear why this composition argument should not be used as a general rule, but rather these cases require
pause
a more
again real
individualized.
This dude's talking about a tier 0 currency, dog. The only currency I value is the American dollar. So drop a super chat right now and let me know how valuable that is to you.
Facts.
Like, I don't... Man, or gold. I'll take gold, too. You can go ahead and mail gold to me. I'm always okay with that. Let's keep watching.
I wonder what category this guy puts Batman in. Is he magic or genetics or spiritual? I mean, his martial arts can be chi. His athleticism can be genetics.
Or what about... Yeah, you forgot about, like, the story of Batman. What does that count as? What are narrative powers?
What is the story of Batman to this guy? What's the story of Superman supposed to be?
Yeah, what are our narrative powers? Or, like, what about, like, Bobo's, like, canonical gag powers?
Yeah.
About and like, idiot killers in Bobo, too? Like, this guy ain't ready.
Yeah.
Let's keep watching.
Consideration. The next argument which usually comes up is what I like to call the function argument, and it is usually phrased something like, these power systems have similar functions, therefore we should treat them the same. Now again, this is one of...
No one makes that argument. No one makes that argument.
Yeah,
literally
like,
nobody.
I think there's a case where you can say, like, oh...
no one.
I think there is a case where you can say these two things do the same thing, so they're pretty similar. You know, in that regard, right? Like, a boat and a car both take you places. They're both forms of transportation, right? But they're not the same.
Yeah. God damn it.
God damn it, Life Rider. Why'd you say that?
If we're talking about Life Rider, I'm about to ban you from my chat if you ever like make a comment like that ever again. I swear.
Yeah,
to God.
Paulo dropped another bomb.
Not
the
JoJo
stand.
are spiritual, but exist because of an alien virus. So genetics, how does he categorize?
Yeah.
Damn straight.
Oh, and don't forget Mickey Taka, who may or may not be an alien, who may or may not also have a stand. Now let's keep watching.
Those arguments, where even with just about 5 seconds of reflection, you'd see how silly this argument is. One particular salient...
Yeah, because nobody fucking makes it. Because of how stupid it is. No one makes this argument, dude. At least nobody that's worth any, like, salt, for that matter.
Hana's
example, which helps to illustrate this, is from the Black Clover verse. So, as we already mentioned before, magic is the main power system in Black Clover, and like almost every other power system, it has a sensing function, where you can sense the presence of others by sensing their magic energy. And this is because basically everyone in the Black Clover verse has magic energy. Everyone except for Asta, who does not have and cannot use magic.
Yeah,
so again,
sure.
obviously he cannot do magic sensing. However, because there exists an entirely separate power system called Ki, which is a type of bodily produced energy, which everyone, including Asta, has. Asta can actually sense people through Ki sensing, even though he can't sense them through magic sensing. And the importance of this distinction goes even...
I do think Goku would be able to sense him, and he would be able to sense Goku. Unless Goku is using God Ki. Then it's, like, debatable. Because, like, I think you can sense God Ki users, but you sense them as normal people, and not, like, that they're strong. Yeah. I'd have to go reread some statements. Because I'm pretty sure they could sense Whis and Beerus, but they're not strong senses. They're like, you know, you feel that pressure off them, I think is what they say. I'd have to actually recheck those statements, but yeah, I think you could sense them. I think Bleach characters could like sense the spiritual pressure. I think that's fine.
Superman's powers is from a Kryptonian, so genetics, but is also tied to the story of Superman, so other. How does he categorize it then?
Even deeper, because for example, as we saw in the battle against Patri, opponents who only know magic sensing are not able to sense Asta because he has no magic, but Asta on the other hand is always able to sense these opponents through Ki sensing because everyone's body produces Ki. This allows for interesting battle tactics, like Asta being able to do a sneak attack on Patri.
So tell me, great all, like, knower of all power systems, tell me, like, in great detail, why Goku wouldn't be able to do the exact same thing.
Yeah,
Tell me
funny?
why.
There are other verses where this happens, where you have people who they're like you have your baseline person who doesn't have like a power, and then you have like the really strong people which can all like sense each other, you know. And then you have people who don't have the power, which you can also sense because they have like so little, like, you know, none of that power.
Yeah.
And then there are people who have like anti-power, who it's even worse. And like it's all explained, and it's because like none of this is like a new idea. It's all rehashes, and it's easily workable. And this guy's just dumb.
Goku got his ass beat by a book. Ki can't interact with words. True.
Ki can't interact with words. Oh my lordy.
Life Rider, he actually has used slime earlier. He did. He actually used slime.
Bro, this guy should get Nickelodeon slimed, dude.
He actually talks about
damn.
how he's a very like big lover of isekais.
Particle manipulation powers are fun, yeah. They can be.
Which
I mentioned
honestly,
Firestorm earlier, so
Yeah. There's very few like isekais that are actually enjoyable.
anti-power would be cool. Yeah, I mean it's neat when verses do it. Like there are like pariahs in Warhammer who are like immune to like everything.
Yeah.
So
And again, just as a callback to the composition argument which we covered earlier, as we have already highlighted, Ki can be converted into magic power. But as we see in this interaction with poetry, a person who only knows magic sensing is not just automatically able to sense Ki, because again, despite the convertibility,
because you have to learn how to like read Ki, you dumbass.
Wait, pause. Wait, you already paused.
Because dude, the other magic user who's in this same panel that can read Ki is right here. His name's Yami. You can read Ki and be a magic user at the same time. So it's not that these guys can't like sense like Asta just because he has no magic. It's because they don't know how to sense Ki either.
I remember I was having a discussion, I think it was with Forks and Noodles' server, about Soul Reapers. And it was like, oh, well, people normally can't see him. And I brought up that just from being around Ichigo's classmates could see Aizen.
Yeah.
So I think if Goku's fighting Aizen, he's just going to pick up on how to sense him, especially since he can already sense unsensible people who have God Ki. Right? These things are easily resolvable in like 2 seconds. None of this is like super difficult stuff. None of this is like unexplored territory. Like, no.
I'm surprised this guy didn't make a 4th category for technology. True.
Yeah.
And, Paulo added again. I feel like anti-magic really screws up his categories because of how it would interact with verses that would have more than one type of magic with different weaknesses. He categorized it all as magic. Exactly. He ends up like not equalizing things by equalizing them. By just categorizing like, all this fucking magic.
He's like, oh, well, it's all magic, and here's where anti-magic doesn't work. So it's not all magic. It's like, yeah, you just disproved yourself. Congrats.
I'm surprised he didn't actually like bring up the fact that like, there is like just a distinction of what obviously Asta can't power null with his anti-magic, and it's like if they're just plain like like energy based things, like if they're just regular ass swords, then he can't just power null them. Like,
yeah, oh, Matt just dropped a bomb, guys. We can't equalize a railgun, and then can someone give me like a depressed Vegeta with that one and put it as like the caption? It'd be funny. Okay, let's keep watching.
And magic are still separate energies. So again, saying that different power systems should be considered the same simply because they have similar functions is one of the most ridiculous arguments you could make, and we won't waste any more time approaching it from that angle. However, this particular argument...
Okay, can I just mention how his like having his background be like just like utter black noise that's just flashing most of the time is just utterly obnoxious. And it just hurts my eyes watching. I don't think he's just bothered to watch his own stuff.
I don't think he's bothered to even like look at what he's made.
Like I'll just say this: there are more than one like type of background that you could use to have your character like be in the background without the ADHD guys clicking off your video because there's nothing moving every like 3 seconds.
What he could do is he could have like a video of a cat in the background, or of like cows, or of like a duck.
Yeah, there are definitely multiple ways that you can appeal to the ADD and ADHD crowd without making like someone want to get epilepsy from your videos. That's just a small nitpick. It's not like something to like harp on this guy for, but just from creator to creator, please change that background.
Simply because they have similar functions is one of the most ridiculous arguments you could make, and we won't waste any more time
Because no one makes them.
approaching it from that angle. However, this particular argument hits at something much deeper that is actually central to the equalization problem. You see,
no.
at the root of this argument, and almost every instance of equalization, is not actually the belief, or even the desire, to truly treat different power systems as if they were the same, but rather, it is usually done to gain, or at least retain, a specific function of one of the competing power systems.
Pause.
So for example,
Pause. Guarantee after this, because he's trying to pretend like, oh, equalization is just used to get like the leg up. But I guarantee you, after like in this video somewhere, he's gonna make the point that yeah, because equalization isn't a thing, it means this character can win now. It's a double-sided sword, dude. Like
Yeah, like
the tide
hold on.
the tide raises all of the boats. Like
Hold on. This guy just infuriated me because he's acting like the biases only exist for the people who try to equalize things. Let me show you something, buddy.
I can't see it. Whatever you're grabbing.
I'm grabbing it right now.
Yeah, let's watch it.
Let's look at some of this stuff right here.
Oh man, what's this video? This video might be worse than the other video we were watching.
The problem with energy equalization is the possible use. There are other ways to measure it. Also, mentions Asta. Let's go to another one.
Yeah, guys, Asta's too OP. You know, fiction were full of like these outer versal characters and these people with like 35 layers of resistances. But man, Asta, dude, we gotta nerf him.
Yeah. I don't see Austin here, so that's a W for that guy. I don't like Oh, he doesn't actually mention Asta. Let's see. Nope, he doesn't mention it.
Man, Surfbone thought he was cooking with this one. I'm sorry, man, but
hold on.
wait.
Oh, look at that. Magic nullification, basically talking about
Oh,
Asta
wow,
right
yeah.
there. Oh, no, look at there. Which is not the same as Asta's magic nullification. Hold on, there's mentions Black Clover. You're just stop. Anyway, my whole point is that it goes both ways, bro. Like, if you're trying to make the argument that it's like that people only do it to fill their biases, that it makes them feel better knowing that like it ends up giving a character somewhat of a leg up to equalize stuff. It goes both ways when you're trying to say that you don't want it because it ends up giving another character you don't want a leg up. And
Nate
that's why
said,
everyone
"Boo!
talks
Get back
about
to the
Asta.
video."
I like how
Nate
you just you said a Broku in our group chat.
Alright, let's keep watching.
Alright.
almost every power system has a strengthening or reinforcing type function that drastically increases physical defense and or the power of an attack. For example, in One Piece, this is called armament haki. In Bleach, we can see this with techniques such as blood vein and blood artery used by Quincy's, and the hero technique used by Arankars. In Naruto, you can see this through the strengthening of weapons with regular chakra or the inherent strengthening of the body with Sage chakra. In Black Clover, this can be seen with general reinforcement magic as well as mana skin. In Hunter x Hunter, this at a basic level is called Ren, but there are more advanced levels like Ko and Ken, and so on. However, something that routinely comes up when Logias from One Piece are brought up in a crossverse setting are many people claim.
This is why he's bringing it up.
Yeah, he wants Logias to be OP.
Because he wants Logias to be OP, so then he can say that the admirals are beat be anybody in Naruto because nobody can interact with natural elements, supposedly.
In that,
It's like a
because all power
Genjutsu.
systems share this strengthening type function like armament haki, we should then assume that characters from other verses should then automatically also be able to damage Logias. But hold on, you should appreciate that this makes no sense.
No,
With
pause
armament
again.
haki, it is not
We're told in One Piece that there are like levels of armament hockey, so you could easily say that being able to hurt a Logia is like a higher tier and that characters wouldn't inherently have it. Like, wow, it's almost like I just solved this problem in 2 seconds on a whim. Maybe if this guy actually like had 2 brain cells to rub together, he could think of anything like this. God damn.
not because the attack or the individual gets stronger that the user is now able to interact with a Logia's true body. No,
Wait, pause
it is
again.
because
Is that how you were able to hit Kizaru? And then you can even attack Navy guys like Smokey? You remember? Wait. You remember when in Alabasta when Ace fought Smoker completely in element form because the elements can interact with each other? You remember that? I remember that. So, if we have a Chidori and we have an L, they're gonna interact. Let's keep going.
in addition to the strengthening function, armament haki also provides a separate but baked-in interaction function that allows its user to interact with the true bodies of these normally invulnerable
Also,
Logias.
pause again.
So when a
No, go back to the scene with Rayleigh. Yep, like right there, yeah. But what's funny is Rayleigh doesn't say they're actually invincible or anything like that. He's just
may seem
Yeah.
practically invisible to you.
To you.
Yeah.
There are definitely ways to hurt Logias besides that. And Rayleigh knows that, and we all know that. You remember when Kid, without having hockey, was hurting Kaido? I remember that. You remember when Kid was like interacting with souls with metal? I remember that.
Wait, chat. Before the introduction of hockey, how did Luffy beat Crocodile? How did he? He's a Logia that seemed practically invincible, but how did Luffy hurt him? He didn't have hockey back then. Is it because he used his own blood that contained water? Or that he literally absorbed water into his body so that he can hurt Crocodile? And found a different method in order to hurt Logias that didn't involve hockey? Wow! You mean Logias don't only have one weakness? No way!
You remember how like Luffy is like immune to lightning attacks? Because he's supposedly rubber, but he's not a Logia, and he's also not even really rubber. He just has rubbery properties because of the Nika retcon. Yeah, I wonder how that works. Let's keep watching.
Slow assassin, nah, Hashi, it was just his sandals.
It's just yeah. Actually, no, that was a theory at the time. People thought that Rayleigh had sea stone sandals. That's a fan theory.
In addition to the strengthening function, armament haki also provides a separate but baked-in interaction function that allows its user to interact with the true bodies of these normally invulnerable Logias. So when a person invokes equalization of haki and chakra, for example, it is not usually because they actually believe these.
I think, for one, if Naruto fought Smoker, a Rasen Shuriken would fuck Smoker. Wind style versus a smoke guy. But for two, he's talking about this like these are like game mechanics. Like, oh, there's a baked-in interaction function. Like, I can easily steal man and say if Goku went into One Piece, he'd just punch out Logias with ki because it works the same. Yeah. Like, they know how to make key barriers in Dragon Ball. I think Goku would figure it out. Like, Ace was weak to hotter fire like magma. Yeah, he'd get roasted by Amaterasu.
Unironically.
Yeah. What was this?
Oh, did you get a notification?
Yeah, sure. Let me go. Never has something for me. Give me like 10 seconds.
Okay. Alrighty. Apollo strikes again. I beat Kenshiro because there aren't any pressure points in my body that make me explode, so no verse equalization means his attacks doesn't work on me. Man, Paulo's on a roll, bro. He's just cooking this man. We saw a Dragon's Wind effect smoker early on. True. Very true. Oh yeah, guys, how did Luffy beat Enel? Is it because he found out that because he was like a counter element to what Enel was, that he was able to beat him that way and also harm him? And this was before hockey was even a thing, and he was going up against a Logia? And literally, as Oda even stated, that if he wasn't the that opposing element to Enel, that he would have been able to hurt, that they would have lost to Enel. Like, there's just so many examples in One Piece alone that hockey isn't the only way to harm Logias. So why are we pretending that simply Naruto characters have no means of interacting with them? Like, at all. Like, this is just, like, such, like, a dishonest argument. Someone said, I kinda don't watch the show, but sure.
Wait, shush.
Yep. Oh, it's a kitty.
Yeah, I have Bonnie here.
It's Bonnie.
Solid. Alright, let's keep watching.
We got a Bonnie on the stream, guys. Is that the first time we ever had Bonnie on stream?
I think so.
That's the first ever Bonnie stream, guys. Oh, man, this video sucks.
Energies to be the same, but rather it is to get a certain function from armament haki and give it to the chakra user. And you'll note, this makes no sense for multiple reasons. Firstly,
maybe because you've never actually put some thought into why people
100%. You know, I don't see how a cleric's healing word can possibly heal like a tiefling, you know? There's just no way that can happen, dude.
Yep.
Katie sounds angry. Yeah, she doesn't like to be held. But she's sitting on my lap right now. So when she comes up here by her own like volition, she's fine with it.
With an example where the functions are more separate from the get-go, it becomes pretty clear how fallacious this is. So for example, Haki and Chakra, like almost every other power system, provides a sensing function, where with Haki, this is called observation Haki, and with Chakra, we can call this Chakra sensing or sensory jutsu. Now, if you are a particularly proficient observation Haki...
It's almost like there are different because of how broad the power system is and its different applications, that there are different specialties, and that just because you are also deriving from that same power system, that it doesn't like automatically grant you these features, and that you have to actually train for them and or be specialized in them.
There's also like people in Naruto who can see the future too.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's up?
Like that was like literally in part 1.
Someone said, does Ace even shower? And what's funny about that is someone did an interview, or not, a question with Oda about if Crocodile showers, and Oda's like, yes, very carefully, because he's weak.
Damn.
A joke that Tekking makes is like how in Pokemon, Crocodile would be quad weak to water, because he's already weak, because he's a Devil Fruit user, then he's like double weak.
So would he be, did he say like he was like a rock ground or something?
If he's weak to water, well, I don't think he made a type joke, but yeah, it would be like rock ground, I think.
Yeah. I'm starting to realize this guy is debunking his own argument. Yes.
Yep.
Yep. You are currently like gaining more like IQ by like listening to this guy and realizing, what he's saying doesn't make sense at all and doesn't actually point out a problem, other than he just has the inability to make coherent arguments for his own premise.
User, then you'll be able to not only just predict what an opponent will do, but you will also in fact be able to literally see into the future, like you even literally hear the words that are spoken.
You know, it's wild that he agrees that like predicting and seeing into the future are two different things, which means you can already resolve an issue like what's better, a Sharingan or Future Sight. It's like, well, the Sharingan has like basic, predictive functions, but seeing into the future would logically be better. So like Future Sight would be better than a Sharingan. He's fine with that apparently, but he's not fine with saying that Amaterasu is better than Ace.
Tekking is actually like decent at power scaling. Tekking's just the best One Piece like YouTuber of all time.
Tekking is like, oh man, I really love One Piece. I'm gonna go talk about it. And it's like, yeah, keep spitting, my king.
Yeah. Like, if anybody is disrespecting on my man Tekking, so like some people were trying to like, just to get off topic, some people were calling Tekking weird, and it was just like, I just see a guy who really enjoys talking about a show.
Yeah, he just like really likes.
And then he started a whole YouTube channel off of it, and he's now profiting off of having like a real ass passion, unlike most of the community.
I can't tell if that's like a legitimate question, Paulo. Would Katakuri not be able to read Goku's future because hockey is different from chi? I mean, according to this guy, no, probably not.
No.
In reality, Katakuri was like seeing what a jelly bean would do, which doesn't have hockey. So, you know.
In this house, we respect Tekking. Facts.
Damn straight. Right, kitty?
Are we getting a Mao?
Probably not. She's purring. I've like surprised.
Now, if a person said to you that chakra and haki both share a sensing function, therefore Naruto, for example, should automatically gain the future side function of haki.
No one says this. Literally no one. No one says this. This entire video should be called the Straw Man.
Yeah.
It also doesn't help that your avatar literally wears a straw hat, so you're just literally the Straw Man. I'm not gonna even call you by your name. I'm just gonna call you the Straw Man. At this point, from now on, chat, we call this man the Straw Man because that's all he does. He doesn't make any good arguments. He doesn't understand the problem that he's actually expressing. He can't even argue for his own position. It's just all about straw manning. So we're calling this man the Straw Man because that's what he is.
Being able to literally look into the future. Like, would that make any sense to you? The answer is no. That argument is obviously absurd. And this is exactly what is done when trying to automatically co-opt the interaction.
How about explain why the argument is absurd?
Absurdity doesn't mean wrong. In fact, absurdity
this argument is clearly absurd. Well, why don't you explain why?
Not only is absurdity not like inherently wrong, but it's an unfounded metric. Like, I could say the notion of a round Earth is absurd. That doesn't mean anything, though.
Yeah.
Like, goddamn.
Function of armament haki with equalization, and this can be viewed at an even more local level to make it more clear. For example, chakra sensing at baseline allows you to sense the chakra of others. However, if you are particularly skilled at it, or just have a particular proclivity, then you can gain added functions like Naruto, who can use it to sense not only chakra, but also...
That's a unique function of KCM. That's like I think it's because like the yin energy or something like that. But that's because he's in KCM, not because he's good at sensing.
Man, you know what? I just realized, you know what's going on at the exact same time that we're doing this stream?
What?
Noodles is like debating in his server on fucking Yuha versus Hagoromo.
Oh, let's fucking clown. Let's keep watching.
Like, this is unironically topical.
Yeah.
Emotions. And surely you'd understand, it is silly to say that just because a person is able to sense chakra, that they should automatically be viewed as having the emotion sensing function. And this literally even comes up in the series, where by using chakra sensing, Killer Bee and Yamato were not able to pick up the fact that Kizami was among them, due to the fact that Kizami, who was hiding in Samehida, had the same chakra signature as Samehida. However, Naruto, by being able to sense negative emotion,
Samehida. There's no I in it.
This guy didn't watch Naruto.
which is entirely separate from chakra, was able to pick up Kizami.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. It's actually kind of insane.
Yeah. How much longer do we have in this video?
Hold on. I can't do math. 12 minutes.
Jesus Christ.
The second reason this makes no sense is that on many occasions it is demonstrable.
Fuck it, I'm putting this back on 1.5 times speed because
this
is taking too long.
The case that in normal situations that the power system does not have the function that they're trying to gain from equalization. For example, the closest thing to a Logia
no
in the
one
Naruto
argues
is
this. Literally, no one argues this. How many times do I have to pause and be like, no one argues this? Because it's If he says another straw man, I'm putting this on 2 times speed. I don't care.
Yeah, it's gonna be like the closest thing to a he's gonna make the closest thing to a Logia is Suigetsu, and then he's gonna completely ignore the fact that Darui negged him with lightning. So let's keep watching.
when he uses his water release technique. This technique allows him to transform his body into liquid form and to change back from liquid form to solid form at will. So he isn't fundamentally water like a real Logia, but he can somewhat simulate a Logia state while he has chakra. Now we have clearly seen
Wait,
where Sage
pause. So what's he made out of then? He turns himself all into chakra?
He's just a chakra puddle.
Yeah, like what? No, he's clearly water, dude.
Someone said, I honestly lost the plot and I forgot what this guy is talking about or what his point is. Honestly, you don't feel stupid in feeling like you can't follow this guy's fucking argument, because it's really, like, incoherent and all over the place. And he's not actually making a real argument. It's also just attacking a bunch of straw men at the same time.
Yeah.
Transformation Jugo, whose clan can naturally use regular Senjutsu, which remember is Sage Chakra derived jutsus, and Sage Chakra is mental energy, physical energy, and nature energy. So a fully powered Senjutsu strike from Jugo, the water form Suigetsu, did absolutely nothing at all to Suigetsu. As a matter of fact, from the dispersed water, Suigetsu forms a blob around Jugo's head, drowning him, and then just reforms, completely unharmed. And remember, this
What? But that's just like a taijutsu strike. He amps himself with Sage Mode, but it's not like Frog Kumite. What?
Yeah. Like, just because Goku uses ki to amplify his punches to make him punch harder doesn't mean that he's throwing a ki punch, bro. It's not the same as throwing a ki blast. Like, what? Like, my guy. No. God, this is so dumb.
This is the same Jugo who shared his Sage Chakra with Sasuke, allowing Sasuke to fight.
Not the same thing! Sharing someone's Senjutsu with somebody else and amping their fist so that it grows larger and hits harder is not the same. Oh my god.
Against the 10 Tails Jinchuriki form Obito with his Susanoo, so it doesn't get nullified as it did before by the 6 paths ability to nullify a regular chakra-based ninjutsu. This can also be seen in Fairy Tail, where you have Juvia, a water Logia type character, that clearly shows that just because it is a magic-based attack, that does not necessarily mean it will automatically bypass the Logia-like invulnerability effect. And Fairy Tail gives us yet another example, because there's yet another power system separate from magic and curses, called Spirit Arts, in which the fundamental energy particle is called Spiria, as compared to Ether Nano of magic. And of course, just because magic strengthening exists, this does not mean you can automatically hit the true essence of Spirit Art.
Just because someone said it in the chat, I'm putting it on 2x speed.
Thank God.
Life forms. And I know that a lot of people's brains seemingly just shut off and go into attack mode when you try to actually dissect the nuances of these topics.
Dog, I think your brain shut off when you wrote this video.
So because of that, let me try to be very clear. We are not talking about things like elemental weaknesses, that is a separate topic, nor am I saying that there are not specific instances in these various series where it may go through for whatever reason, nor is my general point to say that these power systems could not form some application or techniques that has this Logia-like interaction function like armament haki in some manner. That would be silly, because almost all power systems are usually sufficiently broad enough that in theory, they could be used to replicate the functions of any other power system. For example, as we already mentioned, in Fairy Tail, just having magic does not necessarily automatically allow you to be able to hit the true essence of Spirit Arts-based life forms. However, if you have a technique like Irene's conceptual enchantment, then even a magic user is able to bypass this normal invulnerability, allowing them to actually do damage to the true essence of these Spirit Art-based life forms. And the third reason this falls apart is because after they have gained or attained the specific function that they want from a power system from equalization, most people don't ever think about what they should also mean in the opposite direction. So for example, if we equalize Haki and Chakra, and Naruto characters are now granted this armament Haki function or technique, allowing them to interact with and hurt Logias, what should this equalization then mean for the One Piece characters? Logically, wouldn't the One Piece...
We would only assume that for characters who have shown to, like, use chakra to interact with stuff that is, like, natural energy. Like, that's, like, natural. Like, characters like Naruto and Sasuke. And like in characters who would, by extension, who have sage energy, like Madara.
Or Kabuto, who literally uses inorganic animation.
Yeah.
Characters then also obviously need to get the use of jutsus, which are the chakra techniques. So Aokiji should not be able to use
I know it's like a meme. No, but like the problem is you have to learn fire style. So even if you could like Haki and Chakra were exactly the same, you wouldn't just automatically know fire style.
Yeah. Like just be like. Do you not remember how long it took Kid Sasuke to learn how to do the fireball jutsu? Do you not remember how long it took Naruto to learn how to do the Rasengan? Do you not remember how long it took him to like apply wind chakra, like the wind chakra like nature to the Rasengan and create the Rasen Shuriken? Do you also not know that Minato was unable to do something like that before he literally died?
Yeah.
Like, goddamn.
jutsus, and Akainu should now be able to use his haki to produce water-style jutsus. And Kizaru's haki, well, let's just say it allowed him to unlock the Mangekyo Sharingan. Like, people don't realize you can't...
Wait, what? Did he say that they're immune to the Sharingan?
No, he said unlock the Mangekyo Sharingan. But it's like, why would... No one's ever done that just by having chakra, though.
Yeah. It's, like, the literal... Like, you made this whole thing about, like, the genetic, like, distinction, and Sharingan are specifically, like major distinctions in that they're Gekken Genkai, and nobody can just learn how to use a Gekken Genkai because it's purely genetic. That's why the Uchiha were so feared by everybody. If it was something you could just simply learn, then Orochimaru would have never had, like, any plans on stealing Sasuke's body or Itachi's body ever in the series. Like, it's not, like, you strawman, like, the argument that everyone supposedly makes that, like, when we equalize these verses, like, power systems, that supposedly they can also share each other's applications and what they're capable of. That supposedly now, like, if they have chakra, that Logias or admirals are able to unlock the Sharingan.
Yeah, it's a really, like, actually a straw man, like, holy shit.
How does Zoro hurt Devil Fruit users with his sword? Sword and Devil Fruits are different power systems, can't interact.
Damn straight.
And Kizaru's haki, well, let's just say it allowed him to unlock the Mangekyo Sharingan. Like, people don't realize you can't equalize in one direction. There are obvious implications for both sides. However, I feel like this careless culture of equalization has come about not only due to various people's personal wants to push certain agendas, or even just general frivolity of thought, but rather, I feel like one of the primary reasons at the core of all of this is a fundamental misunderstanding, or rather, a lack of appreciation of the importance of mechanisms. And it is pretty weird, because
it's clear you don't understand the importance of mechanisms because you have lacked any, like, demonstration or proof that you understand why versus equalization is even a thing or why we propose it is. And you don't even understand your own argument that you're making.
100%.
most basic level, almost everyone easily understands how important mechanisms are. So for example, Brook from One Piece is a skeleton, and as such, he has no organs. Thus it is pretty easy to appreciate that if attacked with most normal, non-corrosive type poisons, then they would not do anything against him, because he has no organs or cells for the poisons to act on. Like, the importance of this mechanistic consideration is almost common sense in thinking about Brook versus poisons, right? Similarly, it is almost equally obvious that an attack like an ocular genjutsu, whose activation sequence requires injecting chakra through an opponent's eyes, whether through direct, that is intersecting gaze, as with a regular ocular genjutsu, or even through indirect, that is non-intersecting gaze, as with the Mangekyo Sharingan, it then obviously makes sense that the ocular genjutsu would not work if the user can't gain some line of sight into the opponent's eye to inject the chakra, which is why Kakashi told Kurunai and Asuma to close their eyes when Itachi was going to activate the Tsukiyomi, or if the ocular genjutsu is used against a character with an abnormal eye structure, which is why Sasuke's genjutsu did not work against Zansuru because he has a mechanical eye. But again, this is just as obvious as an attack like Ichiya from Fairy Tail, Poison Perfume, which obviously would require at least organs of smell to get into the body to work, would thus then obviously not work on a character like Wall, who's a machine that does not have nasal receptors to begin with. So then it becomes a bit more clear why when thinking about these complex topics like genjutsu in a cross-verse setting, we can't just carelessly say things like the Uchihas solo all other verses, because at a mechanistic level, for example, we know that one of the core facts about genjutsu is that it typically requires an opponent to have the specific energy known as chakra, and that is what is controlled in the
No, it
opponent's...
doesn't. Pause.
Okay, yeah, what you're like misunderstanding is that this is not how all genjutsu works. Like, this is how basic genjutsu works, but different like genjutsus have different functions and what their prerequisites are and what they end up affecting in the body.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, what do you like? Are we just forgetting the whole fact that like the Tsukiyomi not only like has the property of bringing you into a mindscape where you literally feel like you're like getting tortured for several days on end, if like whatever like Itachi so chooses, but he can also use it to like occur within like a picosecond, and that you live your entire lifetime through that, and through that your soul literally evaporates.
Yeah, or like when Itachi used like Izanami, his like eye on his soul disappeared. Like he didn't have that when he was a ghost after his Edo was released. Like these are clearly way more fundamental than you just have chakra.
Yeah.
Like Izanagi rewrites reality, dude. Like if he needed to, Madara would just use that. Like, because like according to you, him and Aizen would just be shadow boxing each other because neither could touch each other. Until like Madara rewrites reality and then beats his ass anyways. Like,
yep, it's just like
here,
yep, like some genjutsu also just rewrite reality where if you just died, you straight up died. You could just be like, nope, that didn't happen, and then just reappear and you didn't die at all. Like that just didn't happen. Like clearly not all genjutsus like only affect the 5 senses.
Actually, Naruto characters have more than 5 senses. They like sense like the direction of chakra. It's a very early scene with Jiraiya.
Yep.
So.
its body to achieve its effects. So if a person does not have chakra, then in the absence of some other mechanism of effect, there's no reason to think that most genjutsu would even work in the first place. This is similar.
No. No. This argument was debunked back in 2018. We addressed this argument several years ago, and he's acting like this is some, like, broad, like, never-before-seen argument that just, like, genjutsu just can't work on somebody that doesn't have chakra. Despite the fact that they're, like, okay, let's start using this guy's argument against him. Let's think about what happens in Naruto. So, Sasuke comes across a character named Manda, while also fighting somebody named Deidara, who's literally about to set off a nuke in the area. And Sasuke, obviously, if he was caught in this, he would have died. So what does he do? He literally summons Manda, who is a sage creature filled with natural energy, who doesn't have, like, the traditional, like, chakra-based, like, system that every single other creature and, like, other humans have. He's able to put him under the genjutsu, go inside of his mouth, and survive the explosion. Now tell me, sir, how supposedly genjutsu just can't affect somebody that doesn't have, can't affect somebody if they don't have chakra. When that, like, whole idea was literally disproven inside of Naruto. God damn, this dude is stupid.
To how it would not make any sense to say that scale magic from Black Clover solos all other verses, because again, we know that one of the core facts about how scale magic makes a person weaker is by shrinking their magic or mana amount or capacity. Thus, if a person does not have magic to begin with like Asta, then in the absence of some other mechanism of action, the scale magic would not be able to make that person weaker. And again, like duh, when speaking about complicated topics, of course there may be some fringe exceptions or special situations. So for example, Inzangi is classified as a genjutsu, but unlike normal genjutsu, it is not directed at an opponent per se, but rather it is directed at the world itself to achieve a sort of reality warping effect, where it treats any negative events that happens to its user, such as injuries or even the user's death, as if they did not happen in the first place. That is, as if they were mere illusions. So controlling
wait, pause. It doesn't treat it, it makes it reality. Like, there is no, like, it literally alters all of reality, so it does that, like... man. I hate to be semantical, but, man.
Not part of the mechanism of action of Inzangi. But just because an exception like Inzangi exists, that does not suddenly disprove that most genjutsu work by controlling an opponent's chakra, like that is just silly. And even ignoring the chakra manipulation mechanism principle of genjutsu, another interesting genjutsu related question, for example, is with the Infinite Tsukiyumi, where it is actually stated that it does not work on dead characters like the reanimated Hokages. So just focusing on this facet alone, that would imply that it should not work on other dead characters like the Shinigami from Bleach. Or is there some specific difference between a Bleach Shinigami type of dead?
No, the Shinigami aren't dead though. Like, Ichigo isn't dead. In fact, there's like a very specific thing that happens if you cut like your soul chain. Remember? Like what? And like what? Like
what does this dude think hollows are?
or what about like the Arankars? Like what are they? Or what about Quincy's? They're not
what
dead
does he
either.
think Chad is?
Dog, I don't even know what Chad is. And I read Bleach. Drop a 1 in the chat if you know what Chad's powers actually are, and getting flicked by Shisui doesn't count.
Versus a reanimated Naruto character type of dead that would make it work on one and not the other. But anyway, this video is not to hash out the intricacies of genjutsu. I merely used it because it is one of the more complicated topics that often comes up in the crossword space. Plus, I've already made a video on this topic of genjutsu, which I might eventually rework as prep for my Aizen versus Madara video, which I'll eventually do. But again, let us not digress. The point of this video is to illustrate.
I am not watching that video. This dude is dumb as fuck. I am not watching it. Unless I get paid. If someone wants to pay me, I'll watch it.
That in many occasions, careless equalization is not actually representative of how the interaction between power systems would go, and in many instances, it is literally going against.
What do you mean how it would go? But no, pause. Who are you? Like, what do you mean how it would go?
Your video would basically just be 5 seconds of it would not occur because, like Chakra and Ryatsu can't interact, and then the cue the swag Kage be da 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 da, and the video's over. Like, just cue the Swag Kage outro and the video's over. Like, I don't know how you can just make a Madara versus Aizen video if you just don't like equalizing verses, like, whatsoever. God.
I understand. Many times it is frustrating that on proper analysis, a character you may favor may just not stand a chance against another character from another verse simply because they lack certain techniques. But again, these imbalances...
Wait, no, wait,
It's
go
really
back.
funny
No,
that
go
you
back.
bring
Go
up
back. Go
this,
back.
Yeah, this specific example.
All right. So Akainu, like, for one, he's fast enough to apparently react to Naruto to turn into magma.
Which
And
is
then the
already an
magma,
assumption, yeah.
and then the magma is supposed to hurt Naruto. The guy who can go toe to toe with Madara, who himself has tanked magma before.
He literally goes up against a Jinchuriki that can wrap himself in magma, and we literally went over how it was stated in the data books to be as hot as magma. And people really wanted to make this distinction that Akainu is just magma, like the actual element magma. So that just means that Kainu can't actually hurt Naruto in any facet unless he's using a hockey attack.
Yeah. Like, you're
Like, it would
debunking
just
yourself
flood
again.
over Naruto and he would be fine.
It's always funny when they debunk themselves, dude.
But again, these imbalances just naturally exist both within specific verses as well as across different verses as a whole. For example, in One Piece, a character who does not know armament haki, which is the majority of the One Piece world, is just as helpless against most Logias as everyone else from every other verse who does not.
Not exactly, as we just proved that if you actually read the earlier portions of One Piece, they come across two Logias and they defeated them without armament haki.
Not only that, but like, the magnet release for Sengun works on people in other dimensions. Why wouldn't it work on light? Like, what? It's like, oh yeah, you might affect things that are like infinitely far away, but you can't affect like the water. And it's like, what? Like,
Not have an
literally
armament haki
what?
equivalent technique. Or in Fairy Tail, against the spiritual arts life forms, a character who does not have spiritual arts or a spiritual arts equivalent technique is just as helpless as everyone else from every other verse who does not have this.
Like, this dude is just so fucking dishonest. Like, how do you just say, like, oh yeah, like, unless you just have armament haki, you can't harm Logias, when all of Part 1 was fighting two Logias, and they defeated them without haki whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, aren't you supposed to be the One Piece channel? Like, you have a freaking straw hat on yourself.
No, the straw hat stands for the straw man,
Yeah,
obviously,
that's true.
Surfbone.
True. I forgot.
Or in Naruto, if you are a character who is dependent on regular chakra-based techniques, like the majority of the characters in the series, and you meet someone like the Six Paths characters, whose abilities makes it such that regular chakra-based techniques do not work on them, then it is obviously unfair, but it just is what it is. The character's particular skill set is just not applicable for the particular situation that they are in. And again, just to reiterate, as I said in the beginning of this video, if you are equalizing power systems because you think it is a cool what-if scenario, then I think that's absolutely fine. But trying to erase these imbalances and other such nuances simply because you don't like them, or even going as far as to assert that they do
You're
not
the one who simply doesn't like them because you're not actually presenting any argument for why they can't interact. Like, you don't actually have a real argument here.
exist in the first place is a bit silly. And at a general level, if you want an accurate representation of how a battle between characters of different verses would or could go, then you obviously need to actually carefully consider each character and the nuances that come along with the interactions of different power systems. But anyway, that's the video, guys.
Yeah, and yet you didn't do that whatsoever.
He did not, in fact.
I'm so glad we finished that video.
Yep. That
It's
video
over,
sucked.
chat. It's over. The video was really, really bad.
It was terrible.
It was terrible.
It was terrible.
Actually, terrible.
It was terrible.
Alright. I'm going to give us maybe 5 minutes. If someone ends up dropping like a super chat, well, let's say this: if it's like a 10-minute video, 20, we'll accept like a $20 super chat. If it's anything more than that, it's like a 15-minute video, it's 50.
Yep. Oh, hey, Surfbone, guess what?
Yep.
The realm is back up.
Oh, okay. Nice. That video was rough, you're telling me, Life Rider.
I know, that video was terrible.
It was actually terrible. I am also exiting out of that, and I'm not watching it again.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
Yeah. He disproves his argument multiple times. No argument contradicts his own logic. L video 0 out of 10.
Straight
True.
hundreds.
That is 100 shake right there.
Yeah.
I think the straw man is being wrong on purpose just for minutes. True.
Yep. You think a basic genjutsu would fully work on someone like Shanks or Kaido? Yeah.
Yes, because they have never demonstrated any like resistance to any type of mind hacks resistance.
Yeah, 100%. I think the only hope would be if they were able to like realize they're an illusion and somehow try to break out of it.
Yeah.
But I don't think they would. Goku in the future Trunks timeline died because the virus used a different power system. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Like, I want to make a versus equalization video, but because of how much people seemingly don't understand it to like this nth degree, it makes me feel like it has to be longer, and I have to then justify how every single like power system is able to interact with each other, because these people simply just can't put 1 and 2 together.
Yeah, no, it's pretty sad.
Like, I have to go the extra mile to utterly disprove their logic, and that's why I have videos like the Goku video that are over like 50 minutes long, because so
really
much
that
misinformation like was spewed out into the world.
Ugh,
God
keep looking at chat.
damn it. I wonder if Roku ever happened to
Tuned in.
I never saw him in chat or anything, so
Yeah.
I wonder, he's probably gonna tune in at some point.
Use currencies as an example. That would help. Well, the problem is that currencies only have value because we believe in them. But then some don't. Some have like an objective value that's backed by something. But they're both interchangeable. Like, it'd be more complicated if you're using actual currencies, unironically. So.
I think the video would have improved a lot if the guy literally had a power skiller read his script and explain the straw man, even if he still disagreed at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, 100%. The problem is that, like, most YouTubers don't have, like, peer reviewers for their own stuff.
The thing is,
actually, like, has any, like good cognitive, like arguments to contribute. Other
like,
than just like, you know what, bro? This is pretty good. Send it up. This is peak.
I've worked on videos that have made points that I disagree with. And I was like, I disagree with that personally. But, if you still want to make that point, here's how I would make it.
Yeah.
And it's like boom. Problem solved.
Yeah. Mr. Old power scaling videos? Well, currently, one is being in development right now, actually. I'm finally, and I'm actually making videos again, people. And literally, the video that's going to be posted pretty soon, granted it's still in, like, editing right now, is, like, kind of like the rebranding of, like, my power scaling videos. They're going to be short, to the point, and easy to understand.
Yeah,
And
I'm also
hoping
working
to
on
make
it.
this like the new thing.
Surfbone said, "Yeah, I'm rebooting 2.0 patch."
I'm rebooting 2.0.
Yeah, where's the campfire at? What tab is campfire under? Oh yeah, I'm making a video too. It should be out this week.
I did actually script a video about pixel scaling. Funny enough.
There they are. So fun.
I legitimately think this guy has never even never spoken with an actual power skiller. No, because the guy doesn't want to get fucking trashed by them, obviously.
No.
I'm assuming the former. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, this debate still going on in Noodles' server?
Is it?
It looks like it.
I booted up Minecraft a bit ago, and I've just been chilling.
I don't know. What I'm afraid of is what I'm seeing in their like when they're in their chat.
Yeah.
That it's just like getting pretty toxic.
Well, yeah, it's a Noodles debate. What'd you
Yeah.
expect, dude? He's probably cutting a promo right now.
Probably. What's this next stream slash video? Well, let me give you a preview.
Wait,
Surfbone.
Surfbone, you remember that clip from Fusion Reborn where Pycon's like, man, Goku's jamming down there, and I'm stuck babysitting a marble. Yeah.
That's basically what's happening right now. Hold on. Do I have the thumbnail saved somewhere? Hold on, chat. I'll leave you with something. I'm trying to see if I... No, I didn't. Here, one sec. IO quickly. This is currently the thumbnail I'm working with. Currently downloading it right now. What if the pixels are magic pixels? Are normal pixels work on magic pixels? Oh no.
Oh no. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. There you go. There you go, chat. That is the next video right there. Hashi can't see it because he's not... I don't know if he's actively watching the stream, but...
Oh no, I started watching Family Guy funny moments.
Of course you did. But yep, this is the new video. Chibi Bone indeed. Now, obviously...
Oh, you know what you gotta get, Surfbone?
What?
You gotta get like a serious bone drawn, like how Saitama goes serious.
I mean, that's kind of what my other one is. Like, I obviously... That's kind of like what my YouTube one is, but yeah, I definitely...
No, because you're a clown.
Make it like a serious Surfbone chibi, yeah. That would be really
Surfbone just ignored what I said because I'm a hater.
But just so I know not everyone is going to be like immediately super fond of like the design of my character here.
I'm not.
I mean, yeah, because you're a top tier hater.
Yeah. I'm straight.
But the reason why I chose chibi for the character is so that it was easier to draw, and that it was cheaper, and that because I wanted to make multiple poses for this same character. And obviously, if he was chibi, it would be a lot easier for the artist to be able to draw more, while at the same time it'd be cheaper for me to purchase.
Okay, but who asked?
Yeah, well, I'm just explaining to the chat. It's only existing for the videos. It's not going to become like my ultimate new avatar. Like, it's not going to replace my stream avatar that you're currently seeing right now.
Or will it?
And if you don't like it, then I'm sorry for you that you don't like it.
I don't like it.
Well, it's a good thing, Hashi, that it doesn't really affect you, so...
I don't like it.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't like it.
Alright, I think that should be the end of the stream. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. We definitely didn't enjoy that video.
No, that video sucked.
Yep.
Like, Broku was right, that video did suck. That was stupid.
Yep. Just use AI images? No.
Oh, I almost threw up there. That would have been bad.
No. Like, no. I do not support using AI as a crutch for my videos. Like, maybe for like certain images to show in videos, maybe that's like a hard maybe.
I'll use it
But
sometimes.
I'm not using AI as a crutch.
I'll use like an AI image like for like a really weird thing that there isn't a picture of, and it's only like literally saying, I need a picture of this. Like I need it
Yeah.
in like a minute's notice. Let me throw something together real fast. Like I'll draw like thumbnails in MS Paint if I need to. Like I've done that before.
Yeah. What if it's
Like,
spiritual AI? Man, we've gone.
Well, like
we've hit like
that-
a whole new different road with this.
Yeah.
You guys just got 100 times more respect for saying AI art is trash. I mean, it is, because you're just literally
Yeah.
stealing from artists. All
I'd
right.
have more respect if someone actually just flat out stole from an artist, honestly.
Yeah. I would have more respect for you if you just literally reposted it without any credit than to just blatantly steal the artwork and then feed it into an AI to replicate it.
Yeah, I mean,
That
because
is
if you're like,
infinitely more like toxic and defamatory. Like,
I think if you're just stealing it, at least I can like reverse image search it or something. Like, I know a human did it, and I can find it if I really need to. But if you're just fucking like doing AI, you're like obfuscating that you took it, and I don't think it makes you look any better.
yep. But anyway, that's the stream. Thank you all for
Yep.
watching.
No,
Class is
Family
dismissed.
Guy.
Say goodbye, Hashi.
That video sucked.